Hello and welcome to another episode of Sharp Talk. I'm Tom, aka Tom Hosting Outdoors on YouTube and Instagram. Today I'm joined by my co-host Alex, who is Alex's Knife Box on YouTube and at Alex_Knifebox on Instagram. Gerald, aka Outpost76 on YouTube and at Outpost76 on Instagram. Steve is late as always. You guys should just assume that Steve is not in the episode until he shows up. And today our special guest is Vinny from neroknives, and you can find him through that name on Instagram and YouTube as well. So thank you for joining us, Vinny.
Glad to be here.
So as always, we are going to start off with what's everybody carrying today?
All right, who's first? Come on.
I'll jump in.
All right.
For once, I'll be first. The Reground Super Freak is my carry today.
That is a really cool regrind.
Brian did an awesome job.
Yeah, I like how he made it like a nice rough satin. Like it looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, I asked him to stop
Yeah,
at
that's
60.
actually really nice. I like that.
He said he could do 60 or 220, and I asked to go with 60. It's a bitch to clean, but otherwise, I really like the look of it.
Yeah.
And after I put a 15-degree bevel on it, it's about 10 thousandths behind the edge now.
Nice.
And speaking of Brian, he was actually part of. He almost got evacuated from that fire in California. So
Yeah.
I've been talking to him.
Did you see the regrind he did on that bug out?
Yeah.
That's wicked.
But luckily, he's safe, he's sound, and everything's good over there. So glad to hear that that didn't turn into a tragedy.
I can't lose my regrinder.
That's very sweet, Tom. That's very sweet of
Hey
you.
man, he's cheap, and he does great work.
That's even sweeter.
We need him alive.
we
We need
do.
him alive.
We do.
Big
right.
shout out to Brian.
Definitely. Who's next?
I'll go next. All right, so I'm in the middle of doing a 2-week carry on the Chris Reeve Omnumzon, so that is what's still in the pocket. I still love the Omnumzon, still probably one of my top 10.
It's
That's a
badass
great-
knife.
Chris Reeve Omnumzon.
Do you find that little nub that comes out from the lock bar gets in the way for your fingers at all?
Not really. Like, it did at first, kind of like how the Sabenza does too. Like, they're pretty much the same way if you look at them, but if you put your finger down here on the Sabenza, it feels really awkward. So here you have to put it like right in. Can you see that little cutout right there? So yeah, you need to put your hand in that for the Sabenza to get its ergonomics. So we kind of did the same thing on the Omnumzon 2. You can kind of see it basically has the same exact design cue as the Sabenza,
Right.
where you have to put your finger right up there. So just from having the Sabenza for so long, yeah, I grew it's not a big change, but yeah, I could see if you just started out with the Omnumzon, how that could be a little bit awkward. But if you have experience with the Sabenza, I think it feels pretty natural moving to the Omnumzon.
Yeah, I've only handled one once, and that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I could see maybe, having it for a longer period of time, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, you just need to make sure whenever you grab it that your hand is like resting right up against that guard up top, and then from there you're pretty much good to go.
Gotcha.
With these guys.
It's a badass blade, though.
Yeah, I love that guy. So easy to carry too. It's so slim, it just carries so well.
What you got, Gerald? I know you got something nice.
No, the same Maxima, buddy. Nothing new,
What?
nothing special.
Bust out that Enzo. Where's that Enzo at?
It's around here somewhere in the case over there with the other stuff.
That's a gorgeous knife.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool knife.
I forget what kind of Enzo is that again?
The
It's
Neo.
the
Yeah, I just love his design. Like even the Shearer Groffs, how they have that simple design. They have that simple look where it's a simple look done right with those real clean flowing lines. I absolutely love that. That's like my favorite aesthetic.
I agree.
Yeah, like
was on my list as I was telling Gerald.
yeah, like that plain clean flow. I just absolutely love it.
He is very pricey, though. I've talked to him before about building me a knife, and I think I'm better off going secondary market actually on his. Whereas
What, with Enzo?
yeah,
Really?
most makers, it's always a little bit better deal going secondary. Not the case on Enzo.
Yeah, see, I'm really looking for a Burka Blade Stitch right now, and I mean they're crazy on the secondary price, so I'm hoping to get one at the New York Custom Show because
Yeah.
secondary they're like you're paying about I think about 50% more than table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like them. I
Yep.
rock them.
Yep. Badass.
All right, anyone else left? Steve's still not here.
Alex.
I am carrying a Brown's Knives Exponent, and I've had a love-hate relationship with this knife. I had one a while back, and it had a little defect on the edge. And when I approached the maker about it, he pretty much was not pleasant to deal with.
Really?
So I returned the knife to the guy that I bought it off of, and then when this ended up coming around, that basically he's not going to be making these anymore. As much as I didn't have a good taste in my mouth with him the first time, I decided I liked the knife enough that I'm going to try another one. And when I got this knife, it didn't have quite a lot of tension from the pocket clip, so it would kind of rattle when I'd close the knife, which was kind of annoying. And then when I took it apart and fixed it myself, now the knife actually has way better tolerances and everything. It feels way better than it did before I took it apart.
That's a shame, but at least you got it fixed up.
Yeah.
He's moved on to a different model now, right?
Yes, he
I
has.
think I saw it the other day, and I really liked it, but I can't remember the name of it.
I can't remember it either.
It's the HSC or something weird like that.
It looked good.
I'm not a fan.
I have to agree. I think it looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can't stand about his knives is that plunge grind. It's so weird.
I think he's got a really sweet plunge
I
grind
mean,
on this.
it looks cool, but like in function,
Well-
I feel like it would get in the way, but maybe not.
Well, I'll say this because he grinds his blade so thin. Like I don't know if you can see this knife is 15 degrees per side, and you can barely see an edge bevel on there. I say it a lot in my videos. Like if you guys are actually looking at an edge bevel on camera, because of the glare, it makes the bevel look wider than it is, and actually the glare makes it look a little bigger. But like that's kind of what it looks like to me in person. You can barely see it. And since it's so thin down here, even where it's not sharp, even that unsharpened part can still pass through material just because it's so thin at the apex. So I've never really had an issue with it. It is definitely a little strange though. I will give you that. But in terms of getting like caught on it, I've never once got caught on it yet.
I like the fact that it looks to me like a little pocket scalpel. So for EDC, I think it's pretty cool. I wouldn't hard use this thing.
Yeah, this thing is just a pure slicer, but what I like about it is the blade to handle ratio on it. I absolutely love the blade to handle ratio. This thing is like absolutely insane for blade to handle. But the other thing too is since there's no flipper and no guard, I mean there's nothing to get in the way, and it's so compact for what it is. And I mean you're not going to slide up on it, but again it's just so narrow. It's like one of the easiest carried knives there is, with a big blade on it too for the size. I really like it. Really cool.
Yep. I can't disagree with you there. So I gave him another shot. It's just disappointing. This is the second knife I had a problem with, and I had to fix it myself.
Yeah, that's a shame. I've had issues with a couple makers like that. Never good.
All right, so what does everybody have that's new?
I was going to say, you probably got a bunch, right?
Go ahead, Alex.
Nah, you guys go first. I have to think about it because there's a long list there.
New? All right, let me move these guys off. Let me get ready for this.
I'll
I
jump
got
in.
two.
I'll say I got the blade back for the Freak. That's the only new thing I've gotten recently. It took like a week in the postal service, which was super annoying. It was supposed to be
These
here
are my
like 2
two new
days.
ones.
Oh, Resenti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a snafu. Boomerang Damascus with Boomerang Damascus clip.
God.
And then I have the Koenig Arius with gold dusted carbon fiber, DLC blade, and flat.
Damn.
Yeah, those are the two new ones.
So that carbon fiber that's on that Arius is actually from carbon plate from Russia. That is the Grand Line carbon fiber. I love that.
I didn't even know that. I just know that I think it was I think he did 7 of them in this carbon fiber scale, and then mine is a one-off of that 7. So yeah, I think all 7 that he did probably were a little bit different. I kind of think that's kind of how Bill kind of rolls, where doing a bunch of different things. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this knife. Even the base one for the money, I mean, just the build quality on this thing, it's super impressive. I need to do a video on this one for sure.
And Bill just got the best customer service. He's really pleasant dude to deal with.
I had a great experience with him too. And yeah, then we have the this thing just feels like a tank. This thing is pretty cool. But yeah, so this one is the Boomerang Damascus with XHP core, I believe. And then green micarta pivot collar, naturally integral. Boomerang Damascus clip. The one thing I have to hit this knife on, I wish he would do this pocket clip screws differently. That's my one thing. I kind of think that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, having 2 satin screws right there.
Yeah.
I mean, what I would do is at this price, I think he should either put them in internally with like an L-bent wrench and blind screw them in, or mill the pocket clip down so then you could only have 1 satin screw there instead of 2. I don't know. That's my one hit on the knife. Other than that, it's like flawless.
That's a pretty, I mean, that's a valid thing, absolutely. But if that's all there's wrong with that knife.
Exactly. Yeah, how much can you really complain about?
That's pretty damn. There he is.
Oh, look who showed up.
Only 20 minutes late.
That's a record.
I would say a record time for
19
Steve.
19 minutes, motherfucker.
It's 20 here.
It's 20 here.
It's 19 in the real world.
Ohio
Your
time's
clocks are all
different than
broken.
Georgia time.
It's we're slow here, so it's a minute slower.
Yeah, it's because that water.
That's how that works.
Very cool.
Oh, that water's horrible.
Whose stupid knives are those? Oh, I see the Arius. It must be Vinny's.
Oh, don't be mad because you don't got a better knife. It's all right, Steve.
What you got?
Fun fact. Huh?
What do you have new, Steve?
I don't have anything new. Anything? Oh yeah, I do. I got that 3-inch hinder.
Well, Steve will be gone for about 30 minutes now.
What about you, Gerald? What do you got new?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Show the Anzo.
Nothing.
Yeah, the answer.
I got this little guy.
So what do you think, Steve?
Huh?
What do you think?
Now that the flipper's gone, I think it's great.
So you like the 3-inch, huh?
Without a flipper, yeah. With a flipper, no. But without a flipper, it's a stout little knife. It's cool. I've been actually, the only reason I didn't carry it today is because I haven't sharpened it. But I've been carrying it since I got it every day.
It's slimmer than you think.
That's why I say the flipper's got to go, because it's really skinny this way.
Yeah.
And when you try to grab it, it kind of with that flipper, it kind of pushes your hand in this weird spot. If that makes sense.
Yep, I agree.
Once you get rid of that flipper, you can choke up on it.
Well, yeah, and like here's the 3-inch versus 3.5. I mean, Steve, what do you like more, the 3-inch or 3.5?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I think for EDC, for me personally, for EDC, I got to give it to the 3-inch. I just like the way it cuts better. I mean, it's a lot thinner behind the edge. It's just all around a better cutting knife. So I think if the 3.5 was around the same, then I would go with 3.5. But yeah, I got to give it to the grind on the 3-inch.
I really love my 3-inch with no choil on it.
That's what I was going to say. That was going to be the one that I actually went with, was a 3-inch with no choil, just so I could still keep the flipper tab. And, obviously I wouldn't have to worry about, trying to choke up in the little finger choil here.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, that would be my ideal one, but I had to go with the vintage. I just really like the look of the vintage series, so I kind of went with that one.
The vintage is
But now,
badass.
yeah, now a 3-inch vintage with no choil, absolutely, that would be kind of like perfect tender for me.
that would be badass.
So how's the 01 in those?
Mine actually sharpens up great. I think it's a little on the softer side, I would have to assume, but yeah.
Yeah. This will be like
50.
exposed to edge.
I would guess 59 to 60 HRC if I had to guess. I mean, that's just a guess. It's not HRC tested, but that's just what I would assume.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere, like 60, 61 maybe. I don't know. This is the third edge I got to put on it and see what it is, but I mean it's all right. It takes a good edge. It's like soft 52-100.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. It's
You know,
perfect. Actually, that's exactly what it is.
that
Yeah.
makes any sense. If you would have done these
I
harder,
wish you would have went with 3V on these. I know that would kind of go away from the whole vintage theme, but this and 3V I think would have just been, yeah.
Yeah, 3V would have been
oh
badass.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, 3D, yeah. Well, because here's the thing: is like nobody ever
3D
talks
under.
about it, but the weird thing about the 3-inch, the pivot and the thumb studs are the same exact size as the 3.5-inch.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So it's a stout little, like it's a very capable little knife. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like a dainty. It's thin, but you can put it to work for sure. It's not
I describe it as like a hard use Delica. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
yeah, hard to use Delica. There you go. Yeah,
I think the ideal
yeah,
one.
but I dig it. I dig this one.
See, I hate myself for saying it, but I've been looking at Hinderers again. I just love the fucking designs.
Good. There you go.
And I don't know, if I were to get one, I think I'd get a 3.5-inch skinny. Because that's the
That's a good way to
same.
go. 3.5.
It's the same blade thickness as the 3, but in the bigger size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly it.
I don't know if it's
What I
thin, it's
really-
thin behind the edge though.
Yeah, see, what I really like about Hinder, now me personally, I would go CRK over Hinder, but with the Hinder though, I really like how Rick actually scales down from the 3.5 to the 3-inch, whereas like the small Savenza, it's the same blade stock, same scale thickness. It's literally just a shrunk down 21, whereas the Hinder is actually like, imagine if you reduce the entire knife by like 30%, so 30% shorter blade, 30% thinner blade stock, 30% thinner scales. You know what I mean? He actually shrinks down the knife, the entire knife, like all aspects of the knife. Whereas, again, you know what I mean? The Savenza is literally just a smaller Savenza. So I wish like the small Savenza actually had like thinner blade stock on it, maybe some thinner scale. I don't know, you know?
I'm waiting until the 31 comes out, and I think I'm going to pick up another Sabenza.
Oh, yeah, I will for sure. 100%. I'm going to try to get one of those in as soon as I can on the channel.
I love this ceramic ball.
What Vinny just said is the exact reason why I don't. The reasons I don't like the 3-inch Hinder. It's because it's so much smaller and everything. I wish it was a little fatter this way. You know what I mean? I wish it was a little wider this way. But it's funny, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it though. All right, what's next?
Well, I got a whole bunch of new shit.
I know you
Let's
do.
hear it.
Here we go.
Let's
Well,
get that stitch back in there.
one thing that I've been waiting for to get for quite a while is a Cultratech Sparn 3. So
No, you did not. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I got one of those coming. It's in the mail right now.
Oh my god, I've been one and one ever since they first came out. I've been dying to get a Cultratech, man. That is like the top of the line from heat treat to everything.
Yep.
Gorgeous knives.
I was trying to tell the boys that those knives are really, really, really well put together.
Yeah, if you can find another one, let me know, because I mean their M390 is like 63, 64 HRC M390, less than 10,000. Awesome knife, man. Incredible.
So I'm very excited. I have handled the Sparn 2, Jim Skelton's old knife. One of my buddies has it, and the action on that thing was as good, if not better, than any awesome bearing knife I could think of.
To me, they're like a Shirogorov Plus. I know that's kind of like heresy, but like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the step above Shirogorov, in my opinion, anyway.
It is. I mean, unless we're going like custom Shiro or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, I mean, anything that even a custom division, I think I'm gonna prefer Cultratech over it.
I would have to agree. Yep.
So that's really exciting. I got one of those little Vero Industry LUDT minis. The thing's pretty cute. It's a little toy.
Yeah, I'm not even familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's licensed by Microtech for Vero Industry. I forgot what the exact name is, but they make a little mini LUDT. I was teasing Tom. I was telling him it could fit his hands finally. The thing's about if you actually like close the thing, it's shorter than a big lighter. It's pretty funny. So got one of those. I got a GEC 97.
93.
No, it's the 97. It's the big one. Yeah.
The giant.
And I got it in maroon micarta, so that's pretty nice. I'm kind of playing around with classical, like slip joints and stuff lately. And then I got a GEC Madison Barlow finally. I was looking for
yeah, that's cool.
That's a super cool knife. And I also bought a lion steel in Damas steel, and micarta.
You mean crushed aluminum cans?
No, I mean Damas steel. You guys saw I sent you the ad from Damas Steel on their website advertising that lion steel.
Listen, they also advertise a certain HRC.
Yeah, but
So
it doesn't matter what the HRC is. I told you, I'm gonna be cutting envelopes and apples. It's a damn slip joint. Who cares?
I forgot. I did have two more knives, and they're both from Brian. I have one of his little dwarves.
Oh, that's cool.
In LC200N at 59 to 60. With, I think this is cross-cut carbon fiber. I'm not really sure. This one was a little fucked up, so he sent it to me. He accidentally got some ferric chloride on it, so the blade's kind of fucked up. And I got another one in some sort of a wood that's beautiful. I'm going to give to my manager to process a couple deer with to test for Brian, because he thinks that this is going to be a great design for skinning and stuff. This one is going to be basically destruction tested. See what kind of damage this thing will take, prying and shit with it. I mean, it's like 5,000 behind the edge, so those things are just going to shatter into pieces, but it'll be fun anyhow. Oh, and the other one's going to get given away.
Nice.
So.
Speaking of shatter tests, did you guys see Bama's video on the SOCOM?
I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw the picture.
You mean his wannabe test?
Well,
The knife was fine, Lee. That knife was still breathing, Lee. I'm disappointed.
I thought it was pretty cool. I gave him a shout out on my last video just because I thought he's kind of stepping up his channel, and he's got a new intro with some music. Yeah, he's stepping up in the world.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that.
No, me neither.
I put a little music intro on mine, but I think that's as far as I'm gonna go.
Well, you got fancy stuff, man. Nero needs that too. Nero has boring intros. Nero needs some fireworks.
What are you kidding, man? I say, hey, what's going on, guys? That's my intro.
That's all
Boom,
you need.
done.
I know.
Simple, clean, elegant.
Yep.
Mine's welcome.
Elegant.
I got what's going on YouTube, and BJ's got what's going on YouTube knife community or something like that. I like BJ's.
I like BJ's.
I like I don't know if you guys remember Virtue Voice on YouTube, where he's like, "Hello, knife people."
Yeah, Virtue Voice.
Yep.
Any of y'all ever seen the video where he grinds his fingers off and keeps sharpening on that Snow White?
Yeah, his fingers are on there. Yeah, you see, he actually grinds the finger to the pens off his fingers. Yep.
It's so fucking gross. Blood is good. He keeps going and going. It's so gross.
And then there was
I've done that. Anybody that's sharpened on whetstones, you've done that before, where you don't realize it, but you're wearing away the pads of your fingers.
Yeah.
They start bleeding, so you gotta wrap it up. Nah, this motherfucker just keeps going. There's blood everywhere, all over the stone. Fucking freak.
And then there's always Jim Skelton. Hey guys, Jim here.
We have somebody in the Twitch chat that just asked, why are gingers allowed in this video?
Fair enough.
Steve,
Huh?
That's you, buddy.
I'm not a ginger. I have brown hair.
Ginger beer.
Red brown.
That's dark brown, buddy. That's borderline black. I'm not a ginger. Sorry. I mean, the beard, kind of. Half ginger? Does that count?
Steve, have you read our iTunes reviews lately?
I've never read a single review or anything.
So
I didn't know we had any.
we're
Yeah, I didn't know we had it.
We're gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna pull those up and I'm gonna read those to you guys because they're some of the best stuff ever.
Did we see more since last time we talked about it?
Oh yeah, there's been more. You and I talked about it when we were testing Google here, but it was good. It's great.
All right.
Because they're funny. People don't like you on iTunes, Steve.
While we're pulling these
I
up,
hate you.
while we're pulling these things up, I want to give a big thanks to the Knife Junkie. I got a chance to join him on his podcast, so you guys check that out. It was pretty fun hanging out with him one more time. And big shout out to Bob, who was with us last week, or what, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Bob for not inviting me to his chat. Thanks.
Bob was awesome. All right, I'm going to read a couple reviews. I feel like we should start doing this on our episodes anyhow.
Yes, we should.
I think it would be fun.
Absolutely.
So if you guys want to hear your comments or your reviews on the podcast, go ahead and should be. I think it's just Apple you can do it on. Maybe the other. I know iTunes or Spotify you can't.
Knife Man yells at other knife man.
That was a good.
Yes, knife guy. Knife guy.
Mason Dixon EDC says, I just binged all the episodes to catch up. Each member brings their own unique personality and perspective to the knife hobby. I like that you guys don't always agree. It's refreshing. Alex keeps the episodes fresh with new knives. Tom does a great job of steering the ship when the force of nature that is Super Steel Steve gets going. My only complaint is with the audio. Otherwise, keep up the great work. We've fixed it since then.
Well, hopefully you guys like the audio better. I think it's much better.
Hashtag balls.
Read
Hashtag
one
I
of
love
those
these
cracking.
guys. Here's the other one. Not bad content. Could do with less of the high horse frat chef yelling and getting cornered in arguments and then backpedaling.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Other than the annoying yelly guy, the audio could be cleaned up. Whoever has the little kid playing with toys in the background needs to be muted. Same with whoever is communicating with the AM radio.
All right, so he's attacking all of us. So first of all, the little kid is fine, and my daughter can come and hang out with me anytime while I'm doing the damn podcast. So if you don't like it, don't listen.
Yes, Steve.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. I accept all the criticism, but when have I ever backpedaled?
Every time.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you.
No
I just
problem.
wanted to make sure.
I do want to point out, though, that I was the only one who was not having criticism in that.
Yeah, right.
And
Being a Scot.
poor Gerald, I think, has fixed the alien problem since we've been on Google.
Yes. That was weird. I don't know why it would do that. Gerald would he wouldn't talk for like half an hour, and then when he did go to talk, he was like 3 times the normal volume.
Yep.
G-strike.
Man, you should have told me that.
I don't think you really could have done anything to fix it. After you talked for like 5 seconds, it would fix itself.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
I think
I
that's
think
it.
we addressed that one all the way through.
Yeah, I think that's it. So if you guys want to hear your comments on the episodes from here on out, go ahead and leave them on Apple Podcasts or any of the other platforms. I should be able to get to those.
If you're gonna insult me, at least make it comical.
I don't know. That was pretty funny, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm not even French. I'm not French though.
I like Knife Man yells at other Knife Man. That was my favorite.
Yeah, because it's true.
I like the backpedaling part. That was pretty funny. Enjoyed it.
That because you know that's gonna tweak Steve.
That's right.
I'm legitimately going through my head like, what if I have a backpedal? That's gonna eat me, and I'm gonna get mad.
That's why it's
I'm gonna
funny.
be up
You
all
legitimately
night.
never have.
You have to binge listen to him.
I'm gonna make a video tonight, drunk, pissed off, on YouTube, challenging everyone to tell me when I backpedal. They're just gonna eat at me all day. You're full of shit.
I'm going to try and find the ones on CastBox, too. I think CastBox will probably have some. We'll go ahead and keep talking about whatever you guys do while I look for that.
Steve,
Yes.
so what's up with those CATRA tests?
I was just gonna bring that up.
What about them?
All right, so hold on. Let me get this. Let me see if I got this right. So, in the CATRA test, it did still fall in line with your results, right? So, CATRA did basically get the same basic results as you.
I think, yeah, I went through some of the results. Yeah, and I mean, they got similar results, but I mean, it's not really. I mean, did anybody think that they wouldn't?
No, well, I think some people did. Yeah, the people that were screaming for a CATRA test. Yeah.
And when I say similar results, I'm just talking about. All right, one guy said comparing me or Gerald's test to the CATRA test was like me comparing to Pete, and that's not. We draw cut a knife at a set angle through cardboard. The CATRA tests draw cut a knife through cardstock. There's a lot more similar at a fixed angle. There's a lot more similarities between those two than there is a guy push cutting rope into a wooden board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
so. You know what I mean? So again, it's a totally different test. But as far as percentages, like M390 outcutting S30V by how much? Yeah, they all. I took all the numbers of the knives that I've done, and they all were damn near the same. I mean, they all lined up almost exactly.
So
okay. And so now let me ask you this. Now that lion steel knife that you had, what was it? The slip joint, right? M390 lion steel slip joint.
Yep.
That one got poked like 10 times, right? They poked that one more than all the other ones, right?
Well, that wasn't the same knife I tested personally. That wasn't the exact same knife.
Now, why did they HRC test that one more than all the other knives you sent in, though?
That's a real good question. Funny how this whole thing started when Kurt poked a knife 6 times and got 6 different readings, and then we took it over to Brad's heat treat. He poked it 4 times and got 3 different readings, and now CATRA gets a lion steel slip joint and pokes it for some reason 10 times. 4 of which were on the blade. They actually poked it like literally here and here and here, like this way on the actual.
All right, Steve. So for people that don't know, why shouldn't you HRC test on the primary grind of the knife?
For those that don't know, so a Rockwell C test is very simple. It has an anvil, like an impinger, and in order for it measures the depth in which that impinger pokes into the steel, right? So in order to get an accurate reading, it needs to be flat on both sides. So if you poke at anything at an angle, if you can imagine that in your head, obviously it's not gonna poke evenly. It's gonna poke at an angle, and you're gonna get a very off result.
Now my question is could they lay something like a blade on an angled piece where it sits flat so that you can HRC test?
No, you can use a shim. You can try to shim it.
Right.
But the reason nobody shims it is because the results are just as off as if you do it without a shim. There's a reason you only do it on the flats. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you use the shim, it's like seeing how many miles per gallon you got with a flat tire with fix-a-flat in it.
Yeah. I would assume that's due to compression forces, right? Because like the shim is probably going to compress something.
Yeah, when they shim the knife, no one does that for the reason because when you shim it, you've now got 2 pieces of material, and the way a Rockwell C tester works is it needs to be stable so that the impinger can measure the exact density. Well, if you have 2 different materials,
it's always the same amount of pressure that's coming down on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so when the anvil drops, basically it sets a preload where it kind of sets into the steel. And then there's a major load where it pushes down. 1 second, speed. And that's when it measures. So if you have if you're shimming it up against a second piece of material, there's always going to be play between those, and you're never going to get an accurate reading.
Yeah, so the shim is going to compress a little bit, taking a little bit of load
Yeah,
off the blade.
that's why nobody does. Yeah, no one that's manufacturing parts or knives or anything with any kind of accuracy is going to shim. That's the reason there's different. So the anvil's on top, the actual piece on the bottom that holds the material. There's different sizes for different types of material. Whether you're measuring things that are long or short, or for that exact reason, so you don't have to shim.
Yeah, and then just to say one more thing, I'm assuming if someone is using a shim, so you can't really cross compare results that way, because if someone's using a shim, they're going to get slightly different results than if you want to get a second party tester and they don't use a shim. Well, then you don't even have a straight comparison at that point.
Exactly. I mean, how about this? The Lion Steel knife has flats right here, just like all the other knives did. They poked the flats 5 times. Why was that not good enough?
Now, what were the results after poking it, HRC?
They claimed. All right. So the test only should on the test. His verbiage on the test was that they poked every knife 4 times and got an average from those 4. So clearly they poked it more than 4 times. So I don't know what reading, the 4 numbers they used for the average. I don't know where they were from on the knife. So they claimed it was
okay.
Yeah, they claimed the average was 58 and a half.
I'm sorry, what? 50 and a half?
58 and a half.
Oh, okay, 58 and a half.
There were a couple knives that they poked more than 4 times.
Yes, they did. Okay, so I think all 4 of the knives they poked more than 4 times. But at least, all right. So okay, they said they were only going to poke the knives in the verbiage in what they wrote. They said they poked the knives 4 times. I'm pretty sure all the knives were poked more than 4 times. So I don't know why they only averaged 4. Secondly, on both Spydercos, when they poked them on the flat, they poked all the knives on the flats. But on the Spydercos, when they poked them on the flats, they poked them on the laser engraving as well. Which is, again, fucking retarded, because obviously if you're trying to get an accurate reading, you don't want to poke a spot that was heat laser engraved.
Yeah,
it could
potentially spot on there anyway.
Yeah, potentially softer or harder steel there. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So now that we talked about that, what is left for them to come back at you with? Is that as high as it gets?
Listen, what we do.
Yeah,
I said it earlier. What we do is basically more scientific than what they just did. We just don't have the machines to do it. Right?
So here's the thing with CATRA testing. Okay, here's a real quick synopsis. There are 2 things that CATRA testing isolates that testers like me and Tom don't. That is the test media. And Gerald, sorry, I don't see his face. Okay, that is the test media, which they use the silica impregnated cardstock, and that is the amount of pressure. They use a pneumatic arm. Okay.
Jesus, Steve, what happened to your fingernails?
Oh man, they're manicured. They're manicured. So
he sharpened them off.
Those are the 2 things that CATRA can control, right? But unfortunately for all of us, those are the 2 things that have no relevance to using a knife. You don't cut silicone impregnated cardstock, and you don't use the exact amount of pressure every single time. The one thing that you can control at home is the edge angle, and CATRA can't even get the edge angle for that. Nor can they even deburr a knife.
So,
there you go.
I ran into an issue with quality of cardboard with a test. So I was testing that Shiro M390. And like my first test, I got like 40-something feet. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, maybe I didn't deburr it properly. Maybe let's go back, resharpen it, do it again. I got like 60 feet. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So then I went and tested one of those customs I have on loan in S90B and got like 90 feet. I'm like, dude, something's up with this cardboard. It has to be. And it turns out this cardboard is just super nasty. Whatever is in here is just super abrasive. I don't know where it came from. It looks the same as everything else, but it's wicked. I went to Walmart and bought the same shit that you use. So now I have some sort of a standard now. So
Yeah, that's why I buy the same moving box. Just for that reason. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but you could run into some. Hey, that's a cool Spartan there. Is that a Spartan? No, never mind.
That's 3V hinder, buddy. Hand ground. What's up?
by the way, Steve, I was supposed to tell you. Dave said you were backpedaling in your argument on CATRA.
Not to go off topic, but like I've just been thinking about this so much. I've been doing a lot of videos recently on like locks and stuff. I never realized how many people don't like frame locks. I mean, it's weird. I never would have guessed it until I actually started putting those videos out there and seeing how many people would try to say that. Well, not try to say they claim that they don't like frame locks. It was kind of like mind blowing thing. I mean, yeah.
I am not.
Frame locks and liner locks are my favorite.
I am
Absolutely, I agree.
with people because I love frame locks and I love liner locks too.
I was gonna do a video on my 5 favorite locks.
I don't discriminate. If it's easy to use and it works well, I don't give a shit.
That's why I hate compression locks. They're not.
I might be in the minority, but I actually don't like axis locks.
It's
I
not
honestly-
bad
I
if
like
they're
it.
done well.
I like the axis lock more than the compression lock, honestly, at this point, just because it's not as in the way. So, like, the compression lock, like, for me, too, like, I really do like the button locks. I like button locks. So, my favorite would be frame locks, liner locks, then probably button locks, like plunge locks, technically, like that you see on, like, a lot of Microtech automatics, just because having it, I don't know, I don't like locks that are on the top. To me, that always kind of bothered me. Like, a back lock isn't that bad. Back locks I don't really mind, but like the compression lock, how it's like right here, right where my hand is, and then I have to kind of like move. I don't know. I'm just not too big of a fan of that. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I hate compression locks. Get at me, Spyderco fanboys. Fuck the compression lock.
I want to do. Me and Steve were actually talking about automatics too, because I want to do a video on this too, because like a lot of people say like they don't like out the front knives because they have like a little bit of play. Which that's a whole, I could spend so long talking about this too, but like they have a little bit of play, but people don't understand how they actually work. Like even with frame locks, if a knife has lock rock up and down play, that doesn't necessarily weaken the strength of the lock. Like even like the older Strider lockups that have the radius lock face, I'm sure you guys know they developed lock rock so easy, but you could spine whack the shit out of one of those Striders with lock rock and it's not going to fail. Like just having up and down play on its own doesn't really affect how strong the lock actually is. There's like other factors that come into play at that point, geometry, lock bar strength, all that. But yeah, just like with automatics, how it's like a pin. I don't know if you guys ever took one apart, how it's a pin that actually falls over. Like, yeah. Steve, what did you say it was from? You said it was from an elevator, right?
Yeah. You talking about the teeth, the way the teeth work?
Yeah, the little hinge that comes over on automatics.
Yeah, like I seen that. Is the Tradoon the same on the as the Ultratech, the way it is in the inside?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think how that works, and that's actually pretty
like that's why. Just because they have different play side to side in all directions, that doesn't stop the fact that there's a pin leading over this far that is never going to get pushed back that way. You know what I mean? The more you push on the tip, the more this pin wants to stay angled, locking it open. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But so just having that play doesn't weaken the strength of the lock. Like trying to get an out the front to close by stabbing. Good luck. You know what I mean? You're going to break the blade first.
But that's kind of expected. Everybody always looks for something to bitch about. Like there's always.
That's true. That's a great point.
I mean, you know, like nothing's good enough. You know, somebody comes with an innovative design or something. There's always gonna be one person that like, oh well, that's stupid. It's it's got this problem. There's always somebody. There's that 10%.
I actually did a video that I never posted because I had Steve. Do you remember what that knife is? It's not even in steel. It's the one that Pete did an edge retention test on.
Oh, the tungsten carbide knife.
Yeah. What's that thing called? Do you remember?
I can't remember what.
Is that the Italian-made knife?
The what?
Is that an Italian-made knife?
I think so. It's that really small, thin one where it's the tungsten carbide that has that thin liner lock on it. It's super slim. It's like a quarter of an inch thick.
Sandra.
Yeah, the sander, and that's it. So, I never posted the video because I messed up that knife because that one, Pete sent me that knife from Cedric Canada, and when he sent it to me, it was dull, and I mean that was probably the hardest knife I ever tried to sharpen. Ridiculous. but it had up and down play, I guess, from him doing his rope cut test. And I was trying to show in a video that that doesn't necessarily affect the lock. I actually bent the frame lock trying to get it. It had so much up and down play, and that little liner lock actually bent it trying to get it to fold. It actually bent in before it ever slipped down. So like I was trying to show that, you know, just having up and down play doesn't weaken the strength. I mean, it was so thin. It was such a thin liner lock. It really didn't take much, though, because, you know what I mean? That liner lock is like a millimeter thick. So thin.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, back in the day,
Sandrin, the one I have is brand new. That thing has a crazy amount of lock rock to it, brand new.
Yeah, because do you see how thin that blade is? The blade is like a millimeter thick, if that. So like, there's no lockup on it. When you get it, it's already at 100%, just because it's so thin. You know what I mean? There's no place for that liner lock to actually lock. It's the liner lock comes hitting the other scale already.
so how did it cut? Is my question.
How does it cut? It cuts all right. I mean, the edge retention's insane, but like, good luck trying to sharpen it. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, the average person, there's no way you can sharpen that. I don't care if you're using a fixed angle system or what. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I know a lot of like really experienced sharpeners that just ask for a new blade instead of trying to sharpen it. Like really experienced sharpeners. I don't want to throw names out there, but you know.
Should have let me have at it, Vinny. That I could have done it.
Steve, I'm still working on trying to send you out the sparring blade. Are they all right? I've been working on trying to send them out this night. I said I was going to send it out like 3 months ago. It's a work in progress. We're getting there.
It'll happen one day.
It'll happen, I promise. I feel like it's getting close. I really do, but yeah, we're getting there. But, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about?
Oh shit!
You guys want to keep going? You guys want to keep going with locks or scale materials, or it's up to you guys.
You guys keep going. You guys,
Hey,
you guys keep going for about 5 minutes, and then we'll start with the knives of the week to talk about.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Steve, go for it.
Let's see. The shaman has shit ergos. Change my mind. There we go.
We've talked about this plenty of times. We all agree.
Have we? Okay. The compression lock is a pig with lipstick. Change my mind.
All right, so hold on. Actually, while we're talking on the spider cow, so what I just did, because, all right, so here, you know, let me grab another PM2. Actually, yeah, here, this one's fine. So I actually took a Spyderco medium rod from the Sharp Maker and chamfered these edges, because Spyderco does not chamfer edges on the PM2s, PM3s. I don't know why. Every knife should have chamfered edges. I don't care what your hand size is. It doesn't matter. Everyone is going to benefit from a chamfered knife. So like, you actually just grab this knife and you squeeze this. This is probably the most uncomfortable knife I've ever squeezed in my life, and I already did chamfer the edges. So if you guys look at my screen real quick, can you guys see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? I think there's about 9 or 10 hot spots on my hand. My hand is just lit up from holding this PM2. You know, so if you're actually trying to whittle wood or something like that, it's so, I mean, it's bad.
The chamfer
so, like,
they did to the Para 3 lightweight, they need to do to the Para 3 and the PM2.
I mean, yeah, I think you guys can still see all the hot spots on my hands from this knife. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's 10 hot spots, 10 or 11, something like that, just from holding the PM2. And that's not even actually cutting with it. You know what I mean? If you cut with it, I mean, it lights your hand up. So, I mean, this is after I already modified it. I don't know if you guys can see like how I did chamfer those edges and stuff. I mean, it definitely did make it better, but I mean, yeah, it's still not where it needs to be, in my opinion, anyway.
Steve,
so,
this chat is like on your ass today.
About what?
Someone said cut some of that disgusting beard off.
His knives aren't sharp enough to do it.
I don't know what this guy's on about, but
first
Jesus.
off, my knives are sharper than Vinny's. Second off, his wife likes my back.
Don't do it.
The tickler.
His wife loves my beard.
God damn it.
Ask her.
Yeah, I've never seen this guy in here before. Scurvy Balls Johnson.
Tell Scrooby Balls his wife likes when my beard tickles her asshole.
Oh, he can hear you. We're live, Steve.
Oh, good. Hey, Steve Balls.
Just so you know, Steve, we are live.
Okay, you should grow a beard. She digs mine, bro.
God.
See, like, I don't know. I absolutely love, like, these are actually, just an FYI, if you guys don't know. Now, this isn't 100%. It's like, I would call it 90%, but I believe it's supposed to be on the 1st. Microtech is going to be re-releasing the Microtech Stitch. I highly, highly recommend you guys pick up a Stitch. If you guys are looking, like, if you guys like Striders at all, Microtech Stitch, it's not the same, but it's super close. So, like, this, I mean, I don't know. You can almost think of it as like a bigger Strider CC because they are both contoured, both roughly the same blade to handle ratio, both like really big, thick, comfortable choils on them.
I've handled one before. They're super nice.
The Microtech Stitches?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool.
If you like Strider knives, cut your hands off.
Wait, what?
If you like Strider knives, go fucking kill yourself and cut your hands off.
You're just mad that one broke on you.
Huh?
You're just mad that one broke.
I like
break. I forgot that. What are you talking about? It's better than it was before.
Nah, Striders are. Yeah.
Strider can't heat treat titanium. It's not my fault that you shit lock geometry. Not my fault they got shit ergos.
Oh, that guy also said you have trailer tats, Steve.
So what if you take a Strider and have the lock carbonized?
He said you have trailer tats.
Trailer tap?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Nah, Strider's one of my favorite guys, though. Definitely.
He's upset because his old lady digs my trailer tats and my dirty beard. My beard still smells like your old lady's asshole, bro.
We must be popular because we finally have a troll.
Is he trolling me?
Not you.
Yes.
Just Steve.
Don't troll me. Don't do it.
Hey, so what if you take your Strider and you have the lock carbonized? Does that fix the problem?
Yes.
Ask Vinny. Then the lock starts to fail. Ask Vinny.
No. No, that was because someone actually tampered with the lock face on one of my Striders when I got it carbonized. But no, I've had Strider carbonized in the past where, yes, it does fix it. And Strider used to carbonize the locks from factory. I don't know why they stopped. So, I mean, for people who don't know, for people who don't know, my guess is, all right, so little Strider lockup history. It'd take 2 minutes, promise. So, Strider used to do the, what is it? Really, I can't even think of the name. What is that? The lock face? The radius lock face.
Lit biscuit. It's called lit biscuit.
Yeah, so when you have a radius lock, so a lot of people didn't like the radius lock face because naturally your lock wears down quicker and it develops up and down play. But I just said earlier that up and down play doesn't necessarily weaken the strength of the lock because there's other factors that, come into play. But if you have a radius lock face, when the bar goes in, notice how if you're locked up here and you have a radius lock face, if this bar starts slipping, it can't slip out. You know what I mean? So technically a radius lock face is the strongest way to do a lock.
So why didn't you carbonize it?
But you decrease the life of it. So then Strider went to a regular lock, which is like this. It's more of like along the lines of like Sebenza. I think they're ground. I want to say Chris Reeves grinds his lock faces at like 6 or 9 degree slope, something like that. But so what that does is that gives you more lockup life, but notice how it's easier for it to slip out. You know what I mean? So you get more locking life, but again, you decrease the actual strength of that lock. So if you just have the titanium on steel, what happens is you get kind of a blend of those two, which is my guess what Strider is going for, because if you have plain titanium, you get stick, which is the opposite of slip. You know what I mean? So you're getting like anti-slip. I don't know how you want to like really think about it, but if you have stick, it's again going to make it so you don't want to slide out. So again, if you have to deal with a little bit of stick, but again, if you start putting pressure on that lock face or the back of the spine, the more pressure you put, the more stick you get, the less likely it is to slip. So the more pressure you put on there, technically the stronger it's getting, because again, it's sticking instead of slipping. So I think that's why he's doing it, because again, if you carbonize it, it is more like you will take some strength out the lock by carbonizing it. But again, you'll increase the life of the lock and not have to deal with stick. So I guess it kind of depends on what your uses are,
Yeah, because when I got my Strider, I got an SNG. And when I first got the thing, it had incredibly terrible lock stick.
Yeah, I wanted to look at it.
Titanium is untreated. They don't treat the titanium.
And then after maybe about like a week and a half to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, the lock stick pretty much went away, and the lock.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, now what was happening with Steve, though, is since he was beating the absolute holy hell out of it, what happens is when you're beating that, you're kind of deforming the titanium, so your lock is going to continue to travel further and further over. So the reason why your stick goes away over time is because those two surface finishes start wearing each other down to a more like a different surface finish. You know what I mean? Because like even surface, if you have two surface finishes that don't like each other, even with steel, if those two surface faces don't like each other, you'll get stick even on a steel insert. That's how that happens. But the same thing with the lock face, you know what I mean, titanium on steel, it can be even worse. So what happens is when that lock bar travels over faster than it's supposed to by regular use, like in the case of Steve beating the shit out of it, that lock bar is traveling over further than it's naturally going to, you know what I mean? So now you're falling into new territory that those two surface finishes aren't mated up properly. So now it's like restarting the entire whole break-in process, except your lock is further that way, giving it even more chance to stick. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
I completely agree with you 100% on all of what you said. The only reason why, like, I side a little bit on Steve on the Strider kind of thing is because technically I thought a Strider was something like that was catered towards veterans and hard use and beating the shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
So if you beat the shit out of it and the lock starts to just go wonky, then that's not a good thing.
I have to agree with that. So, I mean, really though, like I said, there's kind of two ways, and I'm neutral on it. You know what I mean? I mean, I probably would rather them be carbonized from factory. Yeah, I would say yeah. But again, you have to think about it from Strider's perspective too. Is that what's worse, to have your lock move over and to get stick, or to have a chance of closing on your hands? You know what I mean? So it's like it really. You know what I mean? You can't win for everyone. You know what I mean? So it's, I guess he feels that that's the best way, or maybe he just doesn't want to spend the money to carbonize it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I have no idea.
Knives are damn expensive enough to do the fucking carbonizing, in my opinion. You know?
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree with that 100%.
Hey, Vinny.
Hey, Steve.
Okay, real quick. Okay, you can carbonize a lock, and you can also carburize a lock, which is a heat treat process.
That is great.
I want to thank everybody. Vinny, you recently did a video, a hard use video with a Strider and a Sebenza.
Yes.
Okay. How did the Sebenza do in relation to the Strider?
That's kind of hard because the Strider had, I mean, basically, I would consider it the same, realistically. But
exactly.
That Strider, but that Strider does have a carbonized lock face. That's why it's failing.
No, I'm not talking about the failing. What I'm saying is during your pry test, both blocks held up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does the Sebenza have any of the lockup issues that the Strider does?
No, but again, like here,
there we go. There it is.
So here's the Strider that fails. So what happened was, again, I bought this knife used, and the previous owner sanded on the lock face, probably with like a Spyderco stone or something like that. But he ground on the actual lock bar, so he ground on the titanium lock face. And when I sent this knife out to get carbonized, the guy who carbonized it warned me that someone tampered with the lock face on the knife and that he doesn't know how carbonizing is going to affect it. I told him to go ahead and carbonize it anyway, which probably was the best decision after he warned me about it. But now if you hold the knife, I mean, you can see that I could just fold it with no problem, again, because the lock face was tampered with. Now, I will say Strider did say that I could send this into them and they'll replace this entire titanium scale. But, to fix the problem. But again, so I was kind of putting a carbonized lock up against the carburized lock at that point, and neither one of them had issues. Now, if you want to dive in deeper, like what Steve is talking about, even with, like, say, if you put a steel insert on a knife, then you don't have to have the issue, because the one weakness of titanium frame locks is that you can deform the titanium. So when you really start beating the shit out of them, you can deform the actual titanium lock face, and that's when they really start moving over quickly. Like if I start spine whacking the shit out of a knife that isn't heat treated or doesn't have a steel insert or a heat treated lock face, you deform that titanium easily. Again, it's hard to steel up against soft titanium. So at that point, you can really start tearing up the titanium lock face. So if you put a steel insert on there, again, technically the knife isn't going to be as strong because it can't stick. But again, at that point, you don't have to worry about destroying the actual lock face, because again, then it's steel on steel. So there's no, there's no free lunches. You're either gaining something and losing something, I mean, there's a bunch of ways you can go.
What I'm saying is this. Strider knives are in the same price point as Hinderer and Chris Reeve knives, yes?
Yes.
And neither one of those companies have lockup issues.
Correct.
There it is. Enough said. That's it. The other two knives that are part of the big three don't have lockup issues. Strider still does.
Now, I will say, though, Steve, again, though, this Sabenza lock is not as strong as this Strider lock is going to be stronger. If I wanted to see which one would take more pressure, this Sabenza would close before the Strider. So again, this lock, the Sabenza lock will last much longer than the Strider lock, but again, the Strider lock is stronger than the Sabenza lock. So which one do you want? I don't know.
Prove to me the Strider stronger.
Send me $1,000 and I'll gladly do that.
I'm telling you right now, you did a pry test with a Sabenza and a Strider, and they both did just the same. I don't see how the lock is any stronger.
Well, no, because when I'm prying, all the forces aren't directed to the lock. So now if I did, you know how I put the nails in the piece of wood and then pry up? If I did that, which all that pressure at that point is directed to the actual locks, what's going to happen is the Strider lock is going to stick. The Sabenza lock can't stick, okay? So the Sabenza lock is going to slip. This would be a whole other side rant as to why the Sabenza lock isn't as strong, but I don't really know if I can get into it right now. But again, this lock is how it's designed. This lock is designed for maximum life, not maximum. What?
You did the nail test with the Sabenza, and you demonstrated that the lock strength has nothing to do with prying either because you're gripping it.
Yeah. But what I'm saying,
so it doesn't matter. You can't. The Strider isn't any stronger than the Sabenza if you're holding the knife.
I don't know, because it depends on how much force we start talking. Who knows? I mean, maybe so maybe Steve, you're right. Maybe we could say practical strength. Yeah, and practical strength, is there a difference? Probably not. But yeah, if we start like really going to a lab and bringing to failure, yeah, then again, I would say that this is going to be stronger than this. And especially if we're not holding the locks. Now, especially if we're not holding the locks at all, again, even in practical strength, if we're not holding the locks, which again, we probably are, so how practical, I don't know. But anyway, if we're not holding the locks, again, I could make this Sabenza fail much easier than I can make this Strider fail. It just has to do with the geometry and the fact that this is carbonized, this isn't.
Practically speaking, that it doesn't matter.
Practically speaking, probably not, no.
There we go. So this is why Strider knives suck cock, because they can't make a lock like a Sabenza or a Hinderer. Fuck you, Mick Strider.
Knife guy, other guy, knife.
All right, now I will say, Steve, do you have your 3-inch on you?
Yes. I always have my 3-inch on.
You got me beat.
Always.
I got my 2.8.
Knife guy yells at other knife guy.
All right, so Steve, take your 3-inch. Take your 3-inch, and then tell me if you can push this. You push your lock to the other side of the scale. There's mine.
No.
Really? All right. So what?
I can push it. It moves a teeny bit here. It moves a teeny bit, but it doesn't go any further than that.
Mine, I was able to push right over to the other side pretty easy. So mine probably just has a bit of a fitment issue on there, and then. Yeah, so I was curious about that because, that is one of the weaknesses of having a steel insert is that you can't just go. So like, say if you put a steel insert on the Strider, you have to change the geometry. You have to compensate your geometry for having a steel insert versus not. You know what I mean? Because, again, we're talking about two different – we now have steel versus titanium. So you actually you're going to have to change the ramp on your actual blade tang to compensate for that. Whereas if you don't, then you could have problems like this, or for instance, ZT. I'm sorry, I don't want to point anyone out, but because ZT used to go with no steel insert, and they never changed their geometry from no steel insert to steel insert, and naturally that causes some problems, especially when tooling wears out. Things get a little bit out of whack if you're doing large production scale, and it doesn't work.
I actually think that has to do a lot with manufacturing myself, because I just did a video on a Sherogorov F3 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, everybody go watch it and like my video.
Should I hit the bell?
Anyways, but it's funny, when I was playing with that knife, it does have a steel insert, and that is one of the tests before I started the video that I started playing with. I tried to pinch it as hard as I could, and it did not even move.
That's cool. See, that's really cool, but because Shearer Goroff, they used to be able to get pushed really easily. I heard they fixed it. I didn't know if it was true or not, but since Shearer Goroff started, you could always push the lock bar over.
The Hation that I had, and those are the ones that are notorious for that.
I even had a 95 that I sold because I couldn't deal with it. Like lockup for me, like locks are like one of the things that I really geek out on. But so like if I have a lock that isn't like up to my standards, it's just a no-go for me. The knife is getting sold because lock. I mean, like for instance, Steve really cares about heat treat and steel and stuff like that. For me, I lean more towards the side of lockup.
I am too, man. That's my thing too. Lock and design is like my thing.
And like, if you don't know, so if you're talking about like the differences of tooling wearing out and stuff, so if you guys don't know, like where super early lockup came from, that actually originated in the custom market, which naturally the production market always followed. Like whatever the custom market does, years down the line, the production market starts picking it up too. You know what I mean? So that technology flows down to the production level over time.
But I don't like super early lockup. I think it's huge.
Well, now see, with custom knives, it's not really an issue most of the time because, like, say the Norseman, for instance, like a lot of your custom knives, what they do is they'll do early lockup, but they spine whack test them before they go out the door. So every Norseman they're not hurting your knife at all, but you know what I mean? They give it a couple whacks to the spine just to make sure that the knife is safe. So
to me, that Norseman is not early lockup.
No, I was just using it as an example of them actually testing it before they, you know what I mean? They spine whack it before it goes out the door.
I'd say like a 20 to 30% lockup, if that's considered to be kind of early, I think to me that's optimal.
Yeah, here you go. This one, the Exponent, my Exponent locks up at probably, I don't know, there may be a 0.5 millimeter on the blade. I would say maybe 3%. But again, it's not going to fail. You know what I mean? So what happens is you can have super early lockup if it's done right. So on the production scale, super early lockup started in the custom realm and then moved down to the production market. The problem is when you're building custom knives, like one or two at a time, you can really make sure you're changing your tooling more frequently. You're paying closer attention, again, because your tooling wears out, which kind of skews your tolerances, skews them, whatever. And then, so custom makers could get away with doing super early lockup because, again, it's a much lower production. It's much more controlled, much more refined. So, and then they would test them before they went out the door. But when it came to the time for production knives to start taking over what custom knives are doing with the super early lockup, they weren't taking into consideration tooling wearing out, and they didn't start spine whack testing before they went out the door. So if you take that into consideration, the tooling wearing out and then not testing them, that's how a lot of locks started failing, for instance, ZT. And then, again, what I was talking about with them moving to a steel insert, which can't stick, that's kind of a recipe for disaster. But that's where the super early lockup kind of came from. And that's why it's not really an issue on the custom knives because, again, they're more tested. They have a much more eye for the details, where, again, production level, ZTs, they make thousands of them. You know what I mean? They can't test every single one of them and make sure tools aren't wearing out.
But I think that's the biggest difference right there is when you're talking about a custom knife, they get to test and look at every single one.
Every single one. Yeah, ZT can't do that.
Yeah. Dave asked, what about a stainless frame on a knife blade?
Stainless frame? Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, stainless is fine. Again, it's a really good scale material. Stainless steel is actually a really good scale material as long as you can deal with the added weight coming with it. So that's kind of where like the subframe locks are really kind of cool because even Microtech kind of does it fancy because they'll throw in like a titanium subframe lock and then put a steel insert on it anyway, even though really if you have a subframe lock, you could just do it steel. So then you don't even have to put a steel insert on it, So
Boker's a great example of a good steel frame lock.
Yeah. No, they're really good. Again, you just have to deal with the added weight. So if they can like really mill that thing out, like do lightning pockets in there, it's a great material. It really is. It actually does have some advantages over titanium as well.
Brian had a question on Striders, Vinny. He said, has there ever been a concern about Strider using the wrong steel or heat treating poorly, not just HRC? He's trying to figure out what the blurry streaks are on the satin grind of his S30V on an older Strider.
That I can't answer. That might be Vinny.
Wait, so he was worried about what being on a Strider?
He has like blurry streaks in the satin grind.
On an S30, what,
That's
like it's not taking a patina?
An older S30V. It's like instead of the sand grind being crisp,
that's
there's like one or
grinding,
two
not
spots where it's kind of blurry.
Well, I mean,
that's
it kind of
grinding.
that could have to do with blade finishes as well. Like if he has a ghost stripe or anything like that, which opens up the pores on it. I mean, I have like my Sabenza actually had rust on the tip. So, I mean, I've had plenty of stainless steel knives take patina, especially over time, depending on your humidity and things.
Mm-hmm.
And then different finishes on the actual blade can start causing patina, like especially with the ghost stripe. Like I said, the ghost stripe or tiger stripe blades, where you're actually opening up the pores on the steel. That's kind of leads you to getting more of those kind of changes in surface finishes. If you want to take care of that, guy on Instagram, something America, I forget his name, but he's actually the only person. He's the only person who can actually work on Strider knives without voiding the warranty. So he can re-tiger stripe your blade, he can re-ghost stripe it, or he can re-stonewash it, magically finish perfectly.
Cool.
Which is funny because you know that tiger striping or like coating the knife is supposed to prevent corrosion, right?
Sometimes, like the DLC really does, but like I think the ghost striping and stuff like that, where you're bead blasting it, I think that's more just for looks. You know what I mean? Because that will, like, the bead blasting 100% will cause corrosion. Which I was actually ready to test that. I am doing a video on that soon, where I'm going to do a blade and I'm going to mirror polish it. I'm going to have one it's going to be half satin, half mirror finished, and then I'm going to I could probably like salt water on there. And then see, because the theory is, well, a lot of people, I don't know if it's really a theory, but I want to put it to the test to see if mirror finish actually really does protect against corrosion more than satin finish.
I would think it would.
I would think it would too, but I want to see if it's a noticeable difference or not. Because, like, I mean, I'm sure Steve knows in the chef industry, a lot of people do mirror polishes, again, to help prevent against corrosion.
Right.
I mirror all my blades.
On food too.
Yeah.
And then
I mirror all my blades.
Another thing to throw in there too is how he stores his knives, or if it's like a knife he puts away in like. So like, you know, my channel name is Alex's Knife Box because I have a huge box where I store all my knives in, and I have a few knives that because I store in this box, I have a feeling sometimes this wood box collects a little bit of moisture. I've had a couple M3 knives.
I just moved probably about 3 months ago, and we've been having problems with our air, like the thermostat and things. So like my house is never always at the same temperature anymore, and we've been leaving the windows open lately because it's that time of the year. And like I've been definitely having a big problem with corrosion. I don't know if you saw most of these knives. I kind of went through last night. And I'm like, screw it. I'm just gonna frog lube everything, stainless steel and not, because I've been having a pretty bad issue with corrosion.
Yeah.
But this is a hinder from me carrying. I don't know how well it's going to come through, but you can definitely see some spotting on here. Because, again, even this hinder up top, I mean, this hinder, again, this is the hinder's working finish, which is bead blasted, which opens up the pores, and then it's stonewash, which technically should close some of that up. But it wouldn't be as bad if it was just completely blasted. But again, you have to keep in mind that it is a blasted blade originally. So again, you can see that this would be more open to spotting and issues like that.
Kurt just commented and wanted me to ask Vinny what happened with that Strider with the bad scans.
With the bad what?
Bad scans.
Oh, that's the same one. That's the one that fails. That's this one right here. I never did anything with it yet. As Steve knows, I kind of suck at sending things back. I've been this one. I have a Benchmade that's been in pieces that I've been meaning to send out for like a year now. I've been trying to send Steve out that knife. This one, this Sabenza needed new internal work. This one actually got PMI tested by Kurt too. This one, I don't know if you guys can see in there. Wait, hold on. I actually got a flashlight. Check that out. So if you guys can see that little shiny spot in there, right where my pinky is. So we had an issue with testing. What was it? We got bad results on the Chris Reeve because of the blasting. So it was really high in like aluminum and I think chromium. Maybe it had vanadium in there too, because we were trying to PMI test it to see if Chris Reeve was using 6AL4V titanium, and we were getting bad results. So then I sent him my knife, and he did a really good job at it. I mean, it looks way better than I thought. I thought he was literally going to take a chunk out of my knife. But as you can see, it looked like he just put a bit on there on like some kind of probably a manual mill, and then got drilled past the blasting to get an accurate result. And yeah, the titanium was on point.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, the reason was because he blasts these in the same booths that he blasts his like the fixed blades actually have a lot of the same coatings as the Sebenza scales. So he's using, I think he has 2 booths, and they have the same blasting media in there. So when he's blasting them, he's actually blasting off some S35VN that's getting mixed in with his media. So then this thing actually has some S35VN blasted in the scales. That's why we were getting some weird results.
Interesting.
That's why it was high on vanadium and high on chromium, because again, we were actually embedding S35VN into the blasting.
It wasn't high on vanadium or chromium. It was high in aluminum. And his response was that because they blasted with an aluminum media, and the PSI is like 60 or some crazy shit, and it's embedding into that actual titanium.
I thought it was higher on other materials too. I forget. I really don't remember.
The aluminum was really high. 6ALV4 aluminum, titanium should have about 6% aluminum. The ones with mine and everyone else.
I think the 4 is for I think the 4 is for 4 vanadium. Yeah, 6AL4V. Yeah, 4V is for 4% vanadium.
So they were coming back from the PMI with like 12, 15% aluminum, and we didn't know why. And the reason was because they use aluminum in that medium blast, and it's such a high PSI, it's embedding into that titanium at a high rate.
You guys ready for the knives, by the way?
One more thing, Alex.
Let's go roll.
Brian said for Vinny that he was asking, is Darth sending that Strider to you, the old one in S30V with the blurry streaks? He said they won't go away no matter how much you grind, and it's all the way through the steel.
Oh, shit.
Strider uses Peter's heat treat. So if there was anything to do with the heat treat, it would be from Peters, not Strider.
Yeah.
Peters tends to do a really good job.
Yeah.
I don't know how far he's ground down that S30 to say that, but.
Yeah, that's weird. Honestly, I really don't know what that could be. I don't know what he means by streaks going all the way through the knife. Maybe if I could see it. If you want to email me a picture at vsn94@yahoo.com, email me a picture and we can talk about it because I'm pretty interested in that.
And Kurt said the Strider isn't the blasting issue. He was talking about your Strider that was the PMI scan that showed the wrong steel.
Oh, yeah. So this one, I don't even remember what it came up as. This one, I think this was the one, right? Maybe it wasn't. Shit, what was that? I have so many Striders.
Well, for the guy that has the spot that goes all the way through on the Strider, I recommend he just sends that back to Strider. I'm sure they'll take care of him. They seem to be really good about their customer service.
I'm trying to think about that. Okay, wait. So yeah, there's the dot. So it was this one. So this one was supposed to be, if you can see, maybe. So you can see that. So this one got HRC tested and PMI tested, and we definitely got a weird result on the actual steel. So this one's supposed to be 20 CV. I don't know if we ever figured out what it was actually supposed to be.
Did they tell you anything, Vinny?
What?
Did Strider give you an answer on why it was coming up weird?
No, they said that they were going to look into it, and I mean, we were going back and forth a couple times. So I never did anything with it. So I guess I probably should send both these in eventually. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, it really doesn't matter to me that much. But yeah, I don't know what it actually came up with. So this one, we don't even know what steel is on here. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. I should actually go. Is Kurt
Chinese D2?
What was that?
What?
Chinese D2.
Chinese D2, yeah, right. But no, I want to send more of these out because I actually have one that isn't. Where is it? I have so many freaking Striders. This one. So this is supposed to be. This is the same model as this one, just without the coating. So I want to send the one that's without the coating to Kurt for the same thing, HRC test and PMI test, to see what results we get with this guy. They're further apart in runs. This is one of the originals, and then this is a later run. So I want to see what this comes up with without the coating, because honestly, I'm not sure if Steve, can coating affect PMI results or no? Having a DLC on there.
You got to ask Kurt. I don't know how exactly. I don't know how that works exactly.
Neither do I. And that's why I didn't know if it could be because of the coating. So that's why I wanted to send him the uncoated blade before I really started, going further with that. You know what I mean? I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I'm not putting out information about Strider that isn't true, because you know what I mean. I want to cross my T's and dot my I's before I actually say anything.
If the coating affected it, you would just get a reading of a bunch of titanium or whatever the coating is made out of.
Yeah, whatever the DLC. Honestly, I don't even know what DLC is made out of, if that could affect it. I don't know enough about it to really, go with that in depth on it.
Yeah, Kurt's in here, so we should get an answer here in a minute.
All right,
What Kurt said?
let's get into the knives, guys, because
Yeah,
I
let's go
finished
ahead.
my thick glass of scotch. I'm ready.
I finished my pre-workout. I'm about to be up all night. So
Shit. All right. Tom, bring up the screen, buddy. Then we'll get back to, and then you can always tell us if Kurt answers the question too.
what are we doing now? I don't know what we're doing. It's gonna be
So now,
fun.
this is the segment where I pick 5 knives to talk about, and we're just going to analyze the knives and just kind of the new stuff coming out. Things that have
Top shit.
Can we talk about Sabenzas and Striders?
No.
Kurt says that the scan can show coding elements.
It can or can't?
Can.
It can?
Yep.
Interesting.
It was missing
All right,
some
so
elements in 20 CV, it says.
Yeah, so then, Kurt, I'm going to send you out another Strider. That's supposed to be in 20 CV, and then we're going to see what actually happens there. If we get the same results or if we get different results.
That'll be next year. Don't hold your breath. It'll be next year.
I'll be interested because I have a 20 CV Strider myself. All right, Tom, you ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's go to Blade HQ.
Yawn.
Boo.
We're trying to get that DLT sponsorship, boy.
Custom Knife Factory DCPT.
I already
This is
looked
the
at
new one.
I got to move my screen.
Well, hang on.
Just click on Tom's screen. You'll be able to see it.
Yeah, it should be full screen for you.
All right. So here it is. Custom Knife Factory has released the DCPT in a new variant. And I actually like this knife quite a bit. I know it's...
I do too, but I cannot afford it.
Yeah, it's up there. But you know, I gotta say, Custom Knife Factory has been killing it this year. I think their fit and finish has gone like a huge notch up, and they're getting some really cool designs. Now, I don't think this is for everybody. I know a lot of people are gonna think this is an ugly knife, but it really kind of interesting. One thing that I like about Custom Knife Factory is that they supply a whole set of bearings, and this knife actually comes with a Damascus clip too. So, Tom, go on the back side.
They don't show a view of the back.
They don't have a backside of the knife? There it is.
Oh, there it is.
I
So
think you want to do a live feed on my channel.
it comes with a plain clip, which is pretty cool because, you know, if you carry it every day and you want to beat it up, go right ahead. But it also comes with a full Damascus clip to match the pivot as part of like all the little kits you get. So it's kind of one of the first knife companies I've seen throw in a whole packet of extra parts, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
They actually even send in like extra bearings too.
Now, what I'm really interested to know about Custom Knife Factory is they actually do have a I can't say a fair amount. They do have parts that are made in China. They're not specific about how much, what they are. So I don't know if it's the blades that are in China. I don't know if it's it could just be the screws, it could be the pocket clip, or it could be the entire scale set.
So
but they definitely do have some things that are manufactured in China, but they're not open about saying what actually is done in China.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I've done some research. I'm a bit of a Custom Knife Factory fan, and I am definitely not a Chinese manufactured knife fan myself. But out of all the Custom Knife Factory knives I've had, I've never had any problems with any of them. I've owned like 6 of them. So they're very open about it. What they actually say is that they have a lot of their CNC parts made in China. Then they ship the parts over, they do their customizing, they do the assembling, they do the fit and finish, and everything in-house in Russia.
Yeah, but then like my one thing about that is we're looking at $1,000 knife right now. You just said that a lot of their parts that are CNC'd in China. I'm looking at this knife right now, and that entire thing is CNC. You know what I mean? The only thing that's not CNC there is the blade. So, and you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where it's like it's $1,000 knife. Is the entire thing CNC'd in China? I'm just saying for the price, if that is made in China, like that entire scale set. I mean, not taking away from it. Trust me, I still want that knife, and it's a gorgeous knife. I actually like the one that I saw on their website. What is that? Custom Knife Factory. I forget what it's called. Or From Russia with Knives, isn't it, right?
From Russia with Knives, that's correct.
Yeah, so, man, this one that I saw at S90B, it was different than that. Definitely a different finish than that. Still at the time, S2 the color, absolutely gorgeous. Like, I was ready to get it, but then the S90B one sold out, so I passed. But, yeah, again, for that price, I would really like to know what actually is made in China and isn't. Even if the quality's still there, it's just something about me. You know what I mean? Everyone may not feel the same way, but, you know.
I kind of feel the same way as you do, but at the same time, when I've held all these Custom Knife Factory knives, I've never, ever been disappointed. And I think like I said, like now I'm at like number 6. Now, I've sold everything I've had except for the Sablia. I cannot get myself to sell that knife. That knife is a keeper. But I do plan to add into my collection because I do know that they're coming out with the 5th 20, which is a little smaller than the 5th 23 in December. And this is another knife that is kind of specific to Custom Knife Factory. It's not like a collaboration with any other maker or anything like that. And that's kind of what I'm looking for to add to my collection, something that's Custom Knife Factory only. And the DCPT is one of those classic Custom Knife Factory only designs by Alexei, I think it's Conagen or Conagen. And
I will have to say that, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'd have to say that there's 2 custom knives that I think that the production model hits better than the actual custom version, and this is definitely one of them. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the custom version of this knife. I mean, it's still a gorgeous knife, absolutely, but I think Custom Knife Factory actually nails this better than the actual custom model, which I hate when people say, like, oh, ZT does Hinder better than Hinder, because I don't think that stuff is actually, like, there. But, like, with this one, I think that this would make for a better, like, actual used knife, like an actual EDC knife or a knife that you could actually use better than the actual custom knife. They only do the blade grind.
I agree with you. Like, I had the Custom Knife Factory Quayback, which was a remake of the custom Jake Hoback version.
Yep.
And dude, the Custom Knife Factory one killed it. Like,
yeah. I never actually had one of Jake's customs. I really wanted to. I handled them at Blade. They're cool knives. They definitely are, but I never handled the Custom Knife Factory one.
The Custom Knife Factory one was just way better.
Yeah.
You could feel it in the way the lockup was, the fit and finish, and everything. Like, it was just definitely, like, just, it felt like a very nice, tight knife. I ended up selling it to buy something else, but I've handled custom Quaybacks before, and I'm gonna say that the Custom Knife Factory was superior to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that one I'm not familiar with, but yeah, with this one, Custom Knife Factory absolutely killed those grinds on there.
I mean, they really did, you know, and the DCPT is one of the ones that Custom Knife Factory has been doing over and over. Like, they're really known for their con model. And I was pretty impressed. I know the price is pretty high on it, but I think when you take into consideration all that milling and the materials and all the extra parts.
Well, like with this guy, because what's interesting about the Decepticon is it's not even like it's not like that's one piece. Like, that's actually layered and then screwed together. So your parts actually have to match up to each other to form that pattern. You know what I mean? So it's really, I mean, that's really, really intricate milling. Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the hardest mill patterns I've ever seen on a knife, I would have to say.
That's what I think too.
What about the Elijah Isham, whatever it's called?
That's not even a knife. No.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool knife. I will give that though.
That is cool too.
I'm talking about the milling on that knife.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have to say that the Decepticon is probably a little bit more intricate than the what was that knife called again?
Tom, pull that knife up. That whatever it's called. Elijah Isham.
Eschaton.
Whatever the fuck. Eschaton. Yeah, one of those. There you go. Yeah, there you go, right there.
So
yeah.
I
now
think
look at that.
No, the other one. The other one. No, the other one.
What other one?
There's another one.
He's drunk.
Not yet. There's another one. It's not the Eschaton.
Hang on.
Just put Isham.
Yeah, pull the Isham. It's before or after this model. So
Dude, that guy's
let me get more of it.
knives.
The Arrakis?
Hey, right there. The Arrakis.
I still think the Decepticon is way more complicated than that.
I do too. I would have to
yeah.
agree.
How?
Although,
Because
The Decepticon is
like a
lighter,
high-
with a lot more patterns in there.
but this is
This
half
is like-
integral.
This is like
half
a-
integral sign, half integral.
Okay, but ready now. Hold on. So ready?
a two-layer piece kind of knife. I think the Decepticon is definitely more intricate than that.
I would have to agree with that. But think about this. But think about this.
You
So
just said
this knife is made in China. Can look at the milling on this. Now, I will definitely say that this one is easier to manufacture than the Decepticon. But how expensive is this knife?
You're looking at $350.
Okay, $350. Now the Decepticon is $1,000. So I will say that the Decepticon is definitely more intricate than this one. But if that Decepticon handle is made in China, I do not think it should be $1,000.
Hell no.
So
The Decepticon's $1,000.
you guys are I'm gonna weird you guys out right now, but let me just say this, and you know me, I'm so not I'm so not for Chinese made stuff. Like I'm the flagship for that. But if you hold the knife, if you hold the knife and you look at it and you say the construction flat out is better, then like how can you argue that this knife is not worth $1,000?
Because of where it's manufactured. So, like, if this knife, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, say this.
But if
I'm looking at a Microtech stitch right now, and this Microtech stitch built in the U.S. is a $400 knife. If this Microtech stitch was made in China, it would probably be about $80 cheaper. So again, where it's manufactured definitely matters, because that means that they're just getting a huge profit margin if that knife is there. Now, I'm not saying that the machining isn't there, but again, I think where it's manufactured is going to affect what the price should be.
But for me, it's
about where it's manufactured.
But for me, it's okay to charge $1,000 because this knife, not only is it extremely intricate because of the multi-layers of how it's milled out. God, I can't believe I'm freaking defending in the Chinese manufacturer. But then it comes with a full-time Ascus clip, which I saw somebody on Instagram post it. It comes with an extra set of bearings. It comes with an extra set of screws. And the whole knife is made of titanium. I mean, and I'm sure, I know the blade steel is not sourced from China because they're using, I think,
M390, S90B.
Right, it's bowlers. So that only comes from one place, right? And then if you look at the quality of the Damascus and the way it's colored, and it's just freaking phenomenal. So I honestly will argue that this knife is probably, okay, I'd like to see it like $700-800 personally, but $970 compared to what you see nowadays.
Yeah.
And also,
my whole thing is, if I knew this knife was 100% manufactured in Russia, $1,000, no problem. Now, if this knife is manufactured in China, I'm not giving you $1,000 for it. You know what I mean?
I guess I understand that, but I don't agree, because if you're getting product to product, if we're not really worried about where it's being manufactured, if the quality is exactly where it's supposed to be, I'm going to tell you, I'll give you $970 for it.
Yeah. No, I definitely see. There's definitely 2 points to that, for sure.
Dave said it's possible that for the price, that this knife turns into something else, like a microwave oven.
That would be pretty cool.
It's $1,000 Riot.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's what I mean. So if you think about how much Riot could make this for in China, I mean, sure, Riot would probably still be charging about $700 for it, but that's not $1,000. You know what I mean?
I think Riot would charge $1,000 for something this.
I think Riot's smoking crack with $1,000.
Riot's right now cruising at a slow, steady $400 to $500 for a knife, and
honestly, I was just talking about this the other day. I don't see the savings of going to Chinese knives at all. I don't. I think for how much charges, you can get a very comparable knife made in the U.S., or you can even get a mid-tech knife. So I think Riot charges just as much as
I agree with you, Vinny. They do. They do charge just as much.
I think the whole we're saving so much money by buying a Chinese knife. I think that whole thing is just an illusion.
Absolutely. Look at Reich. And I'm sorry, Reich knives. You're going to hate me right now, but they're butt fucking ugly knives. And they are charging a fucking boatload. Look.
Yeah. I mean, even Wii knives, even Wii knives with the price point they charge, their steel is not that good. And I really have not had good luck with fitment on Wii knives at all. Most of them generally come to me with some up and down play. If you're really wrenching on it, you can get wiggle in those knives. Whereas again, a comparably priced USA knife, I don't get that. So I think these knives go more for selling off of form over function, where I think they're putting a lot more of that money into the actual milling and not as much into the fitment, where I think a lot of more USA knives are putting that money into fitment than the actual scale material. So I think they're just doing things differently. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, Tom, go back, click back twice. Because I want to go back to the top of that page.
Like, what the fuck was that? The Thor 6.
No, go back. There's Steve, bro. Look, it's
Steve, you didn't tell me you got a job at Blade HQ.
Don't insult that man. Don't insult him like that.
That's Kurt.
He's a nice guy. Don't insult that.
That's Kurt from Blade HQ. He's cool.
It's fucking Steve, man.
He's a nice guy.
So now go forward to that knife.
Let's make the next knife a 31. Let's talk about the 31.
The Thor 6. Hang on, I was seeing if there's anything else uglier.
I've seen
31
look at that right price. $625 for this knife. That is fucking insane, and that is the Chinese made knife.
Look at the hot spots, bro.
Even let's say
it's ribbing for her pleasure.
Every vertebrae is a hot spot.
So, and this is a direct ripoff of the Scavenger. Are you guys familiar with the Scavenger?
No, who makes this knife?
So this is a Reich knife, but go back, Tom. So this is a Reich. Go back to look up Scavenger. That's by Andre de Ville. Now this is a South African knife, and there you have it.
How is that a direct ripoff? I don't see that.
To me,
it looks like a spine.
It's maybe not
with their actual ribbing on the handles and stuff. I can kind of see it.
That looks more like a CRKT fossil than it does the other one.
Yeah, I'm not saying I like the way it looks, but I'm saying the theme of it being like a whole bone knife.
Alex, it's only $25 more than the other one, and it's actually made by somebody instead of a fucking factory in China.
Exactly.
I don't know why we're talking so long about something that isn't CRK related. It's kind of weird. Not used to this.
So I think that was an interesting talk, but I know we got more knives to talk about, so we're gonna have some fun. I like having Vinny on this one. So let's get into the next knife. We're still in Blade HQ,
okay.
And now I'm gonna go ahead and put Aaron Frederick Custom Richter.
How do I spell it? R-I-C-H-T-A-R?
R-I-C-T-O-R.
C-O-C-K.
C-H-R-I-S-R-E-E-V-E.
C-O-C-K.
So now so I wanted to bring this guy up because Aaron Frederick is a pretty interesting character for me.
I fucking love Aaron Frederick.
Dude, he
makes
custom knives for sub $500. Zoom out and show the price, Tom.
$475.
$475.
These are all handmade.
What's the steel on that? CPM 154?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical of a lot of
that's good stuff.
Yeah, these are all handmade, though. He doesn't have CNCs or anything.
Yeah, Steve wouldn't like it because he's a steel snub.
And keep in mind, this is not 154.
Yeah, don't start back now.
This is not 154 CM. It's CP 154.
Right.
So it's a little different story. This is the same stuff that John Graham uses on his $1,000 knives.
I always wanted one of those. I wanted the original one, the Graham Razor.
Yep.
I like them. I always like interesting blade shapes. Like I love the the Norseman. I swear, people say the Norseman's blade shape isn't functional. That is one of the most useful blade shapes I've ever found. I mean, it's so good. It does everything.
What do you think, Steve? For $475, what do you think? A bolster?
I think it looks. It's got a recurve, and I think it looks like a Kaiser Jasmine with a paint job.
Well, hang on. Give me 1 second.
That was rude.
Yeah, that was really mean.
All right, break it down, Tom.
Hold up.
So I wanted to bring up Aaron Fredericks because there's a lot of people out there that think they need to spend $1,000 to get a custom knife. I'm telling you,
I still have. You know who's one of my favorite? What's his name? Brian Ty.
Brian Ty is a
No, not Brian Ty. I'm sorry. Who's the one who did? Oh man, he's working with Riyadh. He just came out with the knife, the Void. What's his name?
Brian.
Brian Nadeau. That's it. Man, his knives, especially like his mini typhoon, so underrated. I mean, so underrated. The fitment on that thing was ridiculous for $500. I mean, incredible.
They're charging a lot more for those now. Brian is coming up in the world.
Yeah, like oh my God! I just saw one of he had like a dragon scale blade where the milling pattern that he actually put on this double-edged blade was ridiculous.
Dude, I swear to God, no one is doing milling better than what Brian does.
No, yep. I mean, his machining is flawless. I mean, it is impeccable.
Unreal.
I mean, it's great.
So this is also an Aaron Frederick.
He actually invited me. He actually invited me up to his shop.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I want to go check it out. Yeah, he lives about an hour away from me.
Yeah, Brian Nadeau, we all know is the mad scientist when it comes to like CNC and
definitely next level,
big time.
So
I think he kills it. So show Tom, show the price on this thing.
It's actually gone now. It was $350 though. I was looking at this one.
I'm about to sharpen this knife while we're talking.
$350.
It's either $350 or $375.
Yeah, and Trash Panda is his other line.
Yep.
But he was saying that they're kind of starting to intermix a lot.
Yeah, it's still a full custom.
Can I say that is a horrible name for a knife company?
Trash Panda.
Trash Panda.
Yeah.
I love it.
Honestly, to me, it just sounds like I'm getting a bad quality knife.
So, Vinny, you know what a trash panda is, right?
Panda that's eating food out of a trash can?
It's a raccoon.
No, it's a raccoon.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. I remember that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much his whole, and this
is Maker's Mark a raccoon?
It is.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Now it seems like a great value.
So do you guys know his whole story on his warranty? I know, Alex, you might.
Yep, I sure do.
Unconditional, no matter what you do to it, you send it back in with a good story on how you broke it, and he'll fucking fix it for free.
Schreider.
Yes. But that's fucking badass. So badass. That's why I want one.
It's super badass that a maker's going to stand behind his product.
No, it's Steve, it's even if you mistreat it. You use it as a fucking pry bar and snap it in two. You give him a good story about
Steve, that's the perfect knife for you. Steve, you should get it and send me one back over to me.
I'll bet you the price of that knife. I take that knife and fucking pry it in half with a 2x4, snap the blade, and he charges me for it.
That's not a good story, Steve.
You have to have a good story.
You have to have a good story.
That's a weird looking Chris Reeve knife. I don't know.
This is his Trash Panda kit. It's a slip gun.
It's the Panda.
So I highly recommend Aaron Fredericks for those people who are trying to get into customs.
Oh yeah.
Because he's got a great warranty and he also has, from what I hear, a great product.
For being 100% handmade, they look phenomenal.
And the price is nuts. I mean, $275.
He's way undercharging.
More expensive than that.
They will be once people find out about them.
They've been out. I mean, people. I don't know. They still don't have.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the name like Andre de Villers or something like that. Once he gets the name, I promise you they'll go through the roof.
I don't know, man. Once he hits the Sharp Talk podcast, he might blow up.
Well,
he's gonna blow up.
He's been on the Knife Nuts podcast a bunch of times, and
he's a great guest on there.
Yeah,
that's a real podcast.
Here you go, Steve. This is one called. This model's called the F Off. This model's called the F off. This one's for you.
It looks like shit.
This one's chisel ground.
What would you do with that? Like,
Hold up. Let me find.
Where'd
the
you
other
go?
one. He left. I texted him and I asked, "Do you need an invite back?" And I never got a response. So I'm guessing no.
The dog went to sleep again.
I love that. That's such a cool design.
I think so too.
sounds better.
Yeah, it's not chisel ground. I don't know. I think he does all his heat treating in house too.
Cool.
But he just works with basic steels, 3V, CPM 154, and ABL, I think.
ABL is good stuff.
Yeah.
Titties.
That's what his kits are made out of for the most part, is ABL.
Titties? Are made out of titties?
Yes, exactly.
All right, go back to Blade HQ, Tom.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Olamic. Gosh damn it. Where is it? The Olamic.
The Olamic, Timascus,
the Soloist?
There it is. The Rainmaker. The Rainmaker.
Oh, Rainmaker.
That's the coolest.
The Olamic Flash.
The Olamic
I feel
Rainmaker.
like we've talked about this one before.
The Olamic Aneurysm.
I thought this was a cool knife to talk
What was
about.
that Shirogorov? What was that Shirogorov that just came out for the lottery where it was the who's that made by? That Mayo design with the silver twill, I think it was.
That was the Arctic Dr. Death,
Man, that thing was gorgeous.
which was a Tom Mayo collaboration with Shirogorov.
Yeah, that thing, I would have loved to get that.
I'm actually picking up a carbon fiber and Van X37 version next month.
I really do need to sell a lot of knives for this show coming up, the New York Custom Show.
So I'll let you guys kick off with this one. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go check on my daughter real quick.
It looks like a Skyline that Dr. Frunky owns.
I see where you're coming from.
from.
I'm really not big on Olamic. I had the 24/7. It was a cool knife, but yeah, I'm not real big on them. I don't have much to say on this guy.
I like this finish. It's pretty cool.
Everyone's doing that, though.
I know. They did it first, but now everyone's doing it. Let's see what else they have.
31. Excuse me.
We'll get there.
Tell me that doesn't look like a Skyline.
It looks like a Skyline.
It's a huge
Look
Skyline.
at the fucking Skyline. Looks like a Skyline that a unicorn jizzed on. Is what it looks like. It's a Skyline.
The funky holes pattern.
More ribbing for her pleasure.
Hyper rib. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a rip off of that other bone knife, right?
Exactly. I don't know. I've never liked the Rainmaker.
Yeah, me neither. Not my jam.
I don't like the
bounce
long.
off the island real quick.
I don't like the long,
Stupid.
slender knives like this.
It looks like $1,000 butter knife. Like, it's just stupid. Like,
It's really squared off.
Yeah. I don't know. Never liked
I
it.
mean, it just, I think 37 compound grinds for no reason, air holes, blah blah blah.
Steve likes his stupid, boring grinds. Drop points, clip points, or anything that's really boring and sucks. He's all about it.
All about it. All about it. All about it.
No, I like when we get into custom knives, especially like the custom knives when they start doing grinds that production companies just aren't able to do. I think it's cool. It's like they're adding complexity to it, just like in the watch market, how adding different movements to it is adding complications. Doing the grinds, it's just adding complications. I think it's pretty cool.
Your mama.
What you can't knock Olamic on is their variety of finishes.
Yes. And I like their whole motto about never the same. Like they kind of make a whole bunch of different ones, and they always pick out different configurations. So when you buy one,
I have to say, I would 100% take my Arius for the same price as that knife. Gold dusted CF Arius.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Not even, I wouldn't even think twice.
They're actually really reasonably priced, and I've dealt with Eugene before, and also Alia, who are both the makers. Alia is probably more on the maker side of things, and I built a custom squish with full Mokime pivot collars, clip, backspacer, and insert in the frame. And my turnaround was 3 weeks for them to completely build my knife in my hand. That was pretty freaking amazing compared to a lot of other makers. So, but I think this is a pretty cool knife. I mean, it's a fairly large blade. You can get in spear point, or you can get like standard drop point. You can get a lot of configurations, and I like the fact that you can order from Olamic. They're half baked, is what they call it, which means it's something that's already milled out. It's already got a blade on it, but you can add the customization as far as if you want to add like certain materials or pivot colors. You can order it the way you want, and they're really good about working with you on that.
Yeah, we agreed when you were gone, Alex, that we didn't like it.
Yeah, you guys didn't like it.
So,
I like it.
Steve said it was a big skyline.
A big skyline.
A big Kershaw skyline.
Well, you can't always please everybody, but I think we did a pretty good job. I'm not really a big fan of the spear point. I like it just a straight drop point.
Yeah.
And it's a large knife. Look at the blade length on it.
It's 4.25.
That's a big fucking knife. So if you guys like large knives, it's a pretty cool option.
Skyline XXL.
Look at this one. Is what, like $700?
Look at the shitty sharpening down by the plunge.
Tom, pull up a Skyline next to that, Tom.
Hang on. What you really need to look at is how thin this edge bevel is all the way up here, and look how big it gets down here.
I think it's because it flares out like right back where the plunge grind is. That's why it looks like that.
But then they sharpen past the edge.
What do you mean?
Like,
Skyline, triple XL.
The edge should die right here. And then it just continues. Right. They continue to sharpen.
Let's move right along because you guys are a fan of it.
Pull up a Skyline, Tom.
All right.
Pull up a Skyline now.
Yeah, go ahead and pull up a Skyline just for the hell.
Do it.
Which I actually own 2 Skylines. I like those knives.
See? Skyline.
Skyline, Rainmaker.
Same knife.
Same knife.
It's the same guy. Don't even try it, Alex.
Hang on, Alex. From the guy who said that ADV looked the same as that Reich, you're gonna tell me this doesn't look like the Skyline.
I'm not saying it doesn't look like a Skyline, but I'm telling you they're technically not the same.
We don't want to comment about you backpedaling now.
Hey. Moving right along. I like the Rainmaker, but let's move right along.
Next.
So now I've kind of been getting into traditionals, and I'm thinking about buying myself a custom slip joint. I don't give a shit what you guys say. Jim Dunlop custom gun stock.
God damn it. That's the exact one I was looking at.
Perfect. So you'll agree with me.
Maybe it wasn't the gun stock one.
No, but just go on Blade HQ.
Oh,
they have
it on Blade HQ?
They have a nice one there. What the hell's going on, Tom?
Get it together, Tom.
I'm telling you. Is it Dunlop or Dunlap? I think it's Dunlap, right?
DUNLAP. You got it right.
That's what I thought.
Go to new releases, new arrivals.
Yep.
And then go down a few. It's gonna show up. I'm gonna see it because it's.
Look at the Chode OTF.
Oh yeah.
I thought about that at like 50 degrees inclusive.
I thought about talking about that today, but I just skipped over it.
They posted a whole video about using it for self-defense. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's fucking hilarious.
Why did you use the one for self-defense?
That
What,
Microtech Exoset.
You know what? Fuck it. Go back to the Microtech Exoset.
Oh, I didn't see this one. Oh, dude, that's nasty.
Yeah, $450. Look
For
at that.
a fucking front flipper. Cool.
Yep.
Wait, which one's for self-defense?
Hang on, the Exoset. Here, I'll show you. That's what they were talking about it. They were talking about. They made a whole video talking about using this for self-defense.
Self-defense, 1.9 inches. Come on, bro. You can't even penetrate somebody with that.
Trust me.
I
Alex would
promise
know.
you can penetrate with 1.5
I would
inches.
take it over nothing, but you know what I mean.
I have a daughter.
It's advertised as a fucking money clip, guys. Come on.
That clip, though.
It's a money clip. It's a fucking money clip.
I know.
Hey, it's legal in California.
Alex, hang on. I think the Dunlap that you were looking at was on DLT.
Let me see. Maybe you were right.
It was
Let
either
me
DLT or GP knives. I can't remember because I was just looking at some of his knives.
Oh,
the
you
other
know
day.
what? You're right. It's on fucking DLT.
Holy shit, the angle of this action is
Was it the one with the Westinghouse micarta?
I did see that one.
That was the one that I was looking at.
The Westinghouse again. We're back on this, are we?
I love that shit, man.
The
So
Westinghouse mark.
I am actually getting a knife built from Medina Customs. I'm getting a custom Hellcat built right now in Westinghouse micarta.
Can we talk about these $140 time access clips for your paramilitary 2 first?
$340 paramilitary too.
You guys want to talk about that? The clip costs as much as the fucking knife.
I know.
And I have nothing
It's a real
against
thing.
yeah, and you can't even call it It's great.
Adam Purvis.
Only Spider Coat fuckboys will buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Honestly, I'm not just trying to be a troll, but I quite honestly, I cannot think of a less ergonomic, hard-use knife than the paramilitary tail.
Yep.
I cannot, one does not come to mind that has that many hot spots. And again, that's not hand-dependent. It's like, I don't care if you whoever thinks that a PM2 is the most ergonomic knife they ever held. Go, please, right now and try to whittle a piece of wood with that knife. And I want to be there, record your reaction of you actually dropping the knife or yelling out in pain. Because, it hurts. It's just a painful. I don't know.
I think it was GP knives, Alex.
you know what? Just maybe it was GP knives.
I think it was.
If not, we can look at Jim Ruppel.
We're falling apart, guys. We're falling apart.
We fell apart already. Where
That's
was
why,
this?
for me personally, I would go with the Shame PM2.
So this, damn it, man! I can't believe we're fucking.
It was on this site. I remember.
I'm just gonna go to a diamond stem.
Unless they already sold it.
Alex is fired.
Hey, look at my screen right here. That looks like fucking Blade HQ to me. Hold on.
I can't see your screen. Hang on.
See my screen?
Alex is fired.
I have to go to a diamond. I don't want
That does look like your screen. Or what it looks like your screen is your fucking screen.
It looks like fucking Blade HQ to me, but
Okay. We'll jump back. What was it called?
the Jim Dunlop gun stock.
I don't know why I'm not.
Just
being-
Google
if I-
search it, man.
I'm just gonna search gun stock.
I would say, just Google search it.
Has there been any more questions?
Can we talk about a semi-normal knife?
Anything else?
Let's see.
We just did. The PM2 sucks. Next question.
No, nothing else since then.
Did everyone leave?
No, everyone's
right.
still here.
Hey,
I can't
go
find
to Jim. Just Google search Jim Ruppel. RUPL.
Man, I
That
can't
is
believe
that's
I'm
the
not into this thing. That noise isn't bothering you guys, right? The sharpening.
I can barely hear it.
click on that fucking Zulu pattern
It's
one.
bothering me
The what
tremendously.
pattern?
The Zulu pattern one.
Zulu.
That's the second picture right there.
I know what a Zulu is.
All right, just making sure. You know, I don't know who
Whoa,
looks
whoa, whoa. He's in a lot over there.
Trying to test me, bitch.
at.
Whoa. Tom
Dude,
getting all over me.
Tom's got liquid courage going on right now.
Yeah.
So I actually am starting to get into traditional fucking modern material custom knives. I'm thinking that's something really fun to do. I at least want to have one.
I like that
And
one.
this one is really cool, but it's $800.
Mm.
Yeah, the one I saw the other day from Jim Dunlap was like $300.
Well, the one that we were looking at was more than that, Tom.
Oh.
The Westinghouse micarta one was going to be more than that.
It was
I think
Knife Center, Alex. It was Knife Center.
It was $575. Maybe it was Knife Center.
Because I sent a screenshot to BJ and it was Knife Center.
You're running out of websites. It's got to be soon.
Hang on.
Holy shit, that's freaking nice.
I always forget about Knife Center.
I did check for knives on Knife Center as well. I always check Blade HQ, GP Knives, DLT, Knife Center. There we go. There it is.
This is the one I was looking at, Alex.
That's the cheap one, Tom.
That's hot.
That is hot.
That's my style of blade and handle. But
So
you
go
like the
back.
gun stack, huh?
Yeah, I was looking at this one, man. $575, but it's Westinghouse micarta.
$300 for fucking Westinghouse?
Well, yeah, but it's also the gun stock pattern. That's a nice one.
It's a
So
cool
what
knife.
So what do you guys think about custom slip joints? And they go up to $1,300 or more.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the price on some of them is absurd.
Yeah, I'm not really too interested in them.
I'd pay $200 or $300 for a custom, but not.
Yeah, the most I'm going with a slip joint is a GEC for me personally. I'm just not into them that much where I would drop that kind of money.
Right.
So I went to a knife show where there was a lot of custom slip joints. I went in person, and the walk and talk portion of it, of like a custom slip joint compared to like a case or like something else, like just the whole feel of the knife was very, very different. Of course, I'm really kind of into the shield thing and all the other little details when it comes to the custom slip joints. And some of them are made in D2 or CPM 154 is pretty popular.
See, and that's actually interesting because, like, now that you bring that up, that's the one reason why I wouldn't really go with custom slip joints is because a lot of them don't use carbon steel, and like, I'm a patina whore, so like, I absolutely love patina. I think it just makes the knife look great, and I just can't do a traditional knife with stainless steel.
Yep.
Well, you know, and if you like patina, GEC is a good way to go. Although
Yeah, that's why for me, yeah, personally, I just stick with the GEC.
they are getting marked up quite a bit. I mean, I see like I bought that Madison Barlow for about $250, and I've seen them even higher than that, and that's a lot of money for a slip joint.
Yeah, see, like, if I could get into it, I would love it, but yeah, I can't pay this out there. But I'm just not into them enough to do that.
Yeah, it's just me like trying to get into my hands into a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But I do know that this one is a CPM 154.
I am with Steve on this. I think that if I'm gonna carry a slippy, I'm just gonna carry my fucking Swiss Army knife.
Say that again, because you sounded like a robot.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I said I'm with Steve on this one. I think, and that if I'm gonna carry a slippy, I'm gonna carry a fucking Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knives are fine, but it's not the same thing.
They're so good.
They're good, but is it really going to compete compared to a 154 CPM 154?
154. See.
I don't know, man. It's 12C27, and it's probably heat treated decently, and it's ground thin, and it has more tools on it.
I think I'm interested in the whole like handmade slip joint aspect of it. They definitely had a different feel when I went to a custom knife show and I felt them out. I was pretty interested in it. And I think I just want 1 or 2 in my collection, just to say I've dabbled in it and say that, I've gotten a chance to see what that's all about.
I think they're cool. I mean, I'm with Vinny. If I were to get one, I'd want it in the carbon steel for sure. But I think they're cool. It's got to be hard. It's got to be very hard to make a custom slip joint because you're dealing with, the grandpas, the GCs, and the case guys in the world. So, there's not a lot of moving parts on a slip joint. So everything's got to be flawless, right?
Right. Exactly.
So it's really a showcase, of like fit and finish, really. So if you're gonna make a slip joint, you really gotta, cross your T's and dot your I's.
Yep, I agree with you 100%.
I think it's cool. I like slip joints. I carry this, the Swiss Army knife now a lot. I still have a bunch of traditionals, and I still am looking to probably pick some up. But I carry the sack just because it's more functional, and it's got a beer opener.
Yeah.
If I can find that GC, that boy's knife with the cap lifter for like under $250, I would totally carry it. But
yeah, they do charge a lot for GEC knives. I know there's like a cult following for it and everything, and I have a couple GECs myself. I know I paid a boatload for the denim micarta one that I have, and it's a tiny little slip joint. It's not even a really large one. Northwoods, I have a couple Northwoods. Those are pretty expensive too. I think Northwoods is a little superior to GEC if you guys are going out for a slip joint.
But whoa. GEC makes Northwoods.
What?
GEC makes Northwoods.
Yeah.
Hear about that?
Yes, 110%.
Well, I still think a Northwoods knife.
Yeah, they just use different materials, but yeah, they make them. Case actually made a couple of Northwoods too, but that only happened one time, and the fit and finish was horrible on them, so then they just stuck with GEC.
Everyone hates when I say this, and they hate it when I made the video on
I
it.
thought
The
it
case
was
is
Clean.
shit.
I thought Clean was the one that made it.
Or maybe it was Clean. Yeah.
Yeah, that one time they had Clean make it, and it sucked.
Queen isn't even in business anymore.
Yeah.
He's gone.
This was years ago. Okay, so this was years ago. No, okay. It's God, the guy just passed away last year. It's Northwoods are the huh?
Derek Bone.
Yep.
Derek, what's his name? Derek
Bone.
Derek Bone.
B-O-H-N.
Yeah.
Listen, Steve, damn it.
what's the website that he owns?
Knife Ship
company?
Free.
DLT?
No.
Not DLT.
It's Knife Ship Free.
No.
The best place to buy knives. What is it?
Knife Ship Free.
Knife Ship Free. That's
Knife
it.
Ship Free. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Oh, yeah, Derek Bond.
Yeah. He's the one. Okay, so Northwoods was his brand. He purchased that brand and had GEC make the knives for the Northwoods brand. And then one time he had Clean Cutlery do it, and it was a shit show, so they stuck with GEC.
I had no idea about that. That's actually interesting. I didn't know. Yeah. Derek was cool. He had some cool videos on showcasing
he really brought some interesting slip joints to the market too.
He did.
Yeah, because the Northwoods are different. They're very nice knives. They're super nice.
They're very much nice knives.
Yeah,
Coming from somebody who works at a case dealership, case is shit.
Why do you sound like a freaking robot, Tom?
I don't know.
can't hear you, Tom.
That's
Tom,
fine.
take the dick out of your mouth, Tom. You take the dick out of your mouth real quick.
Here, hang on. All right, let's talk.
All right,
There we go. There we go.
All right, last knife, Tom.
All
All right, go to Blade Gallery.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
is
That's
happening?
the 31.
And then search the Payuma.
You're gonna have to spell that for
The
me.
pipe.
Come on, you're a fisherman, Tom. You don't know how to spell Payuma?
Listen, Alex, I'm in Ohio. We don't have an ocean here.
Jeremiah?
Piuma.
REEVE.
Squish, squish.
Yep, there it is.
Squish, squish.
Damn, it took you guys
That looks-
almost 2.5
That
hours.
looks just like the last knife.
So
That looks like the blue bolster one.
So I actually wanted to recommend this knife because Kose Steam Camp is a South African knife maker, and he makes a pretty decent custom knife for the price. It's good looking too.
It's good looking too.
It is good looking too. And actually, if you zoom out, Tom,
Yeah.
go back to the regular page. Put Kose Steam Camp.
What the fuck just happened?
You're what happened, Tom.
If you scroll down, like you'll see like some of the other knives that he's made. So I'm trying to push this, guys, because a lot of guys wonder like where you can get affordable custom knives. I'm telling you right now, South Africa is the place to go. So click on the maker, Tom. You go down, go click on his name. Click on his name, damn it. Right there.
You gotta tell me what it's, right here. Gotcha.
All right. And you can scroll down and you can see like some of the previously sold models.
Cool.
And he's done some really cool stuff. The Majesty is probably one of his most popular models. It's a front flipper. Like most South Africans, I think he's running IKBS. But it is just a really cool little EDC knife. Very simple, very to the point, you know, nice little drop point design. The blade's 3.3 inches, so it's very usable.
I dig that. That one's sweet.
Yeah. And the prices are really good, you know. He's not really ever hitting over like $600. I remember that knife when it was for sale, the one you're looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
That knife I think was about $525, if I remember right.
I love the pivot color.
And it's got, you know, Kevlar, which is pretty cool.
I got a bunch of people in the Twitch chat right now saying they're going to start a GoFundMe for me to get a new computer.
Steve, can we stop it for 1 second? Steve, how much do you worry about pressure when you're sharpening?
Oh, Steve's gone, man.
What happened to Steve?
What did you say? What'd you say, Vinny?
How much do you worry about pressure when you're sharpening? Like how much
do I worry about what?
Pressure when you're sharpening? Like how much do you lighten up your pressure when you start moving to higher stance, or don't you lighten your pressure when you move to higher stance?
Tremendously. So, as pressure is a huge point in sharpening. If you're going to talk about pressure, there's a guy by the name of Peter Nolan. If you look him up online, he's a sharpener out of Canada, and he basically invented like a pressure gauge system, like to talk about pressure and sharpening and how I read this guy's work like 10 years ago, man. Pressure is super, super, super important.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I'm just bringing it up because I have a lot of people say that they're rounding out their apexes, you know, where they're not getting a nice, crisp, clean edge, even though they're like following all the steps. And I told them that it's probably due to pressure because people don't understand that if you're using higher pressure when you move like on your core stone, it's fine to use higher pressure. But once you form that apex, you really got to baby it along, you know, and you'll keep continuously lighting up the pressure if you want to crisp it back.
Absolutely, man. Pressure is huge. Pressure is a very underrated part of sharpening.
I agree with that. So what do you guys think about this flipper?
I dig it. I like this one a lot.
I dig it.
It's real for $500. It's a lot of knife, I think, compared to American knife makers or like a lot of the, you know, custom knife makers out there. This is technically a custom knife.
I hate that they keep like a lot of the South African makers are using N690.
They are. They really like that shit.
Steve, actually, one more. Steve, what do you think about N690? Honestly, I'm not really that familiar with it.
N690 when done well. N690 is like what VG10 was supposed to be.
So it's like a VG10 plus.
Like VG10, yeah, it's a bowler steel, so it's really clean. Usually, when makers use it, especially on a custom knife like that, if they're doing a custom heat treat, it's a really good. I would put it up there with like 154 cm.
Yep.
154 cm.
I would describe it as.
It's a good steel.
I've never really had the opportunity to use it.
I would put it up with CPM 154 for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, same, whatever. Yeah, it's a good steel. I like it.
Someone
Takes a
said,
nasty air.
have you guys heard of the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt?
No, I have not,
Me
but I've
neither.
heard of Teddy Roosevelt.
Have you heard of the Cleveland Steamer?
See, I
Have
tried,
you heard that this exponent takes forever to sharpen?
I
Is
tried,
it a popcorn making machine?
I tried to Google it off to the side and I couldn't find it.
Is this a fucking popcorn making machine?
I feel like it is.
I'm kind of hungry right now.
I was looking
Have
for
you
it on off the
heard
side
of
and I
the
couldn't find
Cleveland
it.
Steamer?
Click on it,
Maybe
Tom.
we should still do that live.
It is.
Let's see here. I don't see any knives on Oz Machine Company. I see fucking glow beads for $30.
Fun fact. There is a company that makes restaurant equipment called Cleveland, and they make a steamer.
Oh my god.
No, hey, Tom, you
I've used
go
it.
back to just Google the whole thing. Oz Machine Company
Cleveland steamer.
Roosevelt. See, look, scroll down. You'll see it right there. Roosevelt.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier. He said they're only on
Go down.
Instagram.
You're stupid.
I know, Steve. You don't gotta tell me.
Oh, this looks like the real steel Terra. Daddy-O EDC just got that one right there. That's his.
That's cool.
That's Daddy-O's knife right there.
He's cool. I like him.
There he is.
It looks like a real steel Terra to me.
It's cool.
Steve,
looking.
that's sweet.
Or it looks like a Voxnez design, some kind of Voxnez design, like the Summit or something.
It's like a Vox blade with a fucking Chavez handle.
Yeah.
That's
Steve, sometime this week you should come on the channel and we should do that live feed.
Huh?
I said we should finally do that live feed where it's me and you on a live feed. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about.
Oh, look, it's Eugene Kwan. Got to get back
Fuck
to you on your books.
I like Eugene. He was super nice.
Fuck you, Gene.
Steve isn't
Eugene
here
wants
to make
that
friends.
I was cool with Eugene until I feel like a fucktard.
Steve isn't here to make
Why would
friends.
he
He's
do?
here to offend as many people as possible.
Steve,
I
what did you
don't.
do?
Huh?
So I
What did
think
you do?
I think this knife is decent, but
like
I think it, to me, it doesn't look finished. There's something
At
missing.
all.
I like it, but I don't like the opening hole.
I don't like
I'm with Alex. It doesn't look finished at all. It just looks like two slabs of titanium and a big fat blade.
yeah, it doesn't look finished to me. There's something missing. Like it's a little vanilla to me.
He says 10 thousandths behind the edge.
That's cool. I mean, it's 10. It should be. I'm glad it's cut.
Well, at least it's got something going for it. Because looks ain't one of them. It looks like a Medford freaking slim midi handle.
Yeah, Slim Mini and a Voxness had a baby.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like something. It doesn't look like his own thing. Like he looks like he tried to kind of get some design elements out of some other knives.
Yeah.
Didn't do his own thing.
This is only his 8th one, it says.
Well, I definitely don't want one. I'll wait till he gets to 100 then.
He says he's hoping to have number 9 done on Monday.
All right.
That's cool. I mean, I think he's doing good work for being that early on. It looks good. It's more finished than what a lot of knives are, with your fucking first 10 knives.
I think it's good for the first 10 knives, but I don't think it's worth selling yet.
He says he's got some
Yeah, that's
cooler
exactly
ones.
what I was gonna
Hold
say.
on.
Alex, you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean it's not there yet. It's cool, but you know, like that's
What's the price point on that knife?
I have
yeah,
no
that's
idea.
a good question.
Some of these other ones look kind of cool.
But he's already using Timascus. You know, like it kind of reminds me of a James brand handle too.
Yes. You nailed it.
Look. Go down, or I mean, go up a little bit. He's got the shit so flat on the back. He's got one standing up. Go up a little more.
Yeah.
Look, it just fucking stands up on its own. You know, like I'm not. I don't know, guys. I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything bad. It's not a bad looking knife. It's just, it's not. Oh look, it's upside down too. It's okay. It's a work in progress, is what I would say it is.
I don't know.
I don't do it.
I just think these days, like it's a cool design and I do like it, but I feel like these days anybody with a CNC machine is trying to make knives.
Yeah. If you guys are going to go out and make knives, make something unique, you know? There's about 3 or 4 knives I can think of that knife looks like.
He says $500 for the base model and the steel's AEBL.
Woo! No, thank you. Too much.
Yeah, it's a bit sweet.
He's not there yet, man. He needs to be at like the $300 range.
For like $350, that'd be a smoking deal.
For $350, I might try one. Maybe.
Here's the thing. Ready? Okay, watch this. You see that knife sitting right there, right? In pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine a Shavaz, the Chavez 229.
Yep.
Which knife would you pay that money for?
Chavez.
Well, the
Chavez, and it's cheaper, and it's a cheaper knife.
It is a cheaper knife.
He's got
That's
2
what I'm saying.
detents.
So that's what you. Yeah, okay.
What the fuck?
That's interesting.
I mean, it's cool.
Why is my question? Why does it have 2 detents?
I guess he can't fit one correctly, maybe?
Maybe he's trying to play off the Norsemen's where they have 2 stop pins, so one closes the knife, one opens. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting, nonetheless.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but it looks unfinished. It's just,
Look
it's just
at
not.
the comment. Loving this hole is in line with the frame.
I hope it is. Yeah, I hope the whole is in line with the frame.
He said you can front flip them too. Well, I'd hope that's a big chunk hanging out.
Well, that doesn't mean shit, man. I can front flip a lot of knives that weren't meant to.
Oh, I can't. I can only front flip that Metamorph.
I can front flip a freaking.
Yeah, I take back what I said about this X-Run being set behind the edge. I thought, when I talked to him, he said that was at 15, so I never put it on a stem. And this thing, this bevel is getting so fine at 15 degrees per second now. It's starting to get kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. So this side, oh, why is it all blurry?
There you go.
Yeah. So this is now at it's roughly there. You know what I mean? I'm freehanding on the stone right now. But, yeah, if you get into this side, which is my bevel, compared to his bevel, this thing was probably sharpened at about 50 or 60 degrees inclusive. My bevel at 15 degrees is probably 3 times wider than his bevel. So, yeah, I'm saying he sharpened it at about 50, 60 degrees inclusive. Or not 50. I'm sorry. I mean, like 30 degrees per side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's real wide.
What's up?
All right, boys. We have anything else for us?
Why is your girlfriend calling? Did she say it's time to hang it up? Is that what it is?
Yep, that's what it was. She's gonna unplug the router.
So I think Tom's girlfriend should come on the podcast.
Yes, I think so too.
Since you guys are all fucking friends with her on Instagram now.
As a matter of fact, I think she should replace Tom on an entire episode.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see. We'll see if this ever or that episode even reaches Twitch, ever gets recorded.
I agree.
Hey, wait, where can people find this episode at?
This episode will be on YouTube in roughly 3 to 4 weeks because I take forever on the YouTube side of things.
All right, shoot me a message when it's up, and I'll let my subscribers know that I was actually on here, and they can check it out.
It'll be on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Podbean, all that tomorrow. The audio version always goes up next day.
All right, cool.
So I'm gonna try and I uploaded episode 16 today. I still have to put 17 up, and this is 18. So I keep falling behind on the YouTube side of things because they take 3 hours. They take. Listen, Steve. I don't want to hear about it from somebody who posts 1 video a month.
I post 2 videos a month. Thank you very much.
On your good ones.
I need to calm down on posting videos. I've been posting way too many videos lately.
I try and post once a week. I feel like shit because I haven't uploaded for 2 weeks.
By the way,
you should.
I got a pretty cool project going on with Brian on a Pilar. He's going to be doing a full regrind. He's going to do a shattered mirror finish on it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, shoot.
That should be pretty cool. On a cheap fucking knife, we're just going to spend a whole bunch of money and do a disassembly video. Yeah, that should be.
Spend 10 times what the knife cost.
Yeah. I'm about to start a long-term carry project with ZDP.
Are you?
What's ZDP?
I don't have a whole lot of experience with ZDP, so it's going to be completely
Good
new.
stuff.
I think you're going to be impressed with ZDP.
I think it's interesting because it's mostly chromium carbide, so I don't have to really focus on, staying with a strictly diamond progression. I can mix things up a little bit on this one.
I would still take, for me personally, I would take Rex 45 over it, but ZDP is easier to get your hands on, so
right.
Yeah.
I wasn't that impressed with Rex, honestly. I did that,
Really?
that long term.
I really like Rex.
Like, it seemed like overhyped M4 to me, but although that was on a military, so you weren't really testing the hardness and geometry of it.
I think Rex 45 should outcut M4 now.
It should at the right geometry. If we're talking Spyderco's at 24,000, it's about the same. It felt the same to me.
Interesting.
Like sharpening felt the same, use felt the same.
You're telling me in theory Rex is supposed to outcut M4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should blow it away. Yeah.
It has a shitload more cobalt.
Okay.
Well, okay, hold on. Whoa. Okay, cobalt doesn't have anything to do with edge retention. That's with its ability to. It's a high-speed steel for high heat applications.
Right.
The only reason Rex should outcut M4 is simply because of its ability to get harder.
Yeah.
Rex can hit 65, 66, where M4 usually tops out at around 63, 64. Yeah, it can hit 66, but it would be brilliant as shit.
I thought M4 had a shitload of carbon in it.
M4's
They
got
both
a
have
decent amount. Hang on.
About 1.6 or 4. No, 1.4.
Give me a second. I can pull it up.
Steve, you did a Rex 45 test, right?
Yeah.
What did better, M4? Did you compare it to M4 at all, or no?
I've tested both.
Yeah. It
did
did much better than M4. It did better than M4.
It did, right? Yeah. I was going to say, just from me carrying it, I definitely noticed the difference.
This is 2 different knives for me. The military at 18 degrees per side was like 24 thousandths behind the edge. That did like 433 feet or something like that. And then I had a Benchmade Griptilian in M4 that was about almost the exact same behind the edge thickness. And I want to say I did 3 tests on it, and the average of the 3 tests was like 390. So it does a little bit better, but not.
And they were both sharpened at the same angle, though?
Oh, yeah. 18 degrees per side.
Interesting.
Now.
So Gerald didn't even fucking make it to 9 o'clock.
That.
Dog woke up, man.
I told him as the dog starts fucking snoring, he's out. And then he's like, no, as long as I make it by 9, I'm out.
The point I made in my video, Vinny, was that for like the original prices, I would 110% go Rex. But for secondary market prices, it's so much better to just go M4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
because the secondary market prices are retarded.
I really like 4V too.
I
That's
haven't
my
tried it
other
yet.
Yeah, I have a couple.
4B's tips.
Yeah, I had an old Farm
4B.
Forge from
I
Steve's
don't
Boys
know.
there at Farm Forge. They did a really good job on that heat treat, and then they have a Mannix in it, which is like the most painful knife in the world, and what's the other one? PM3.
I don't know 4V, but I know tits. And if you're telling me they're good, then I'm
If you know tips, then you know 4B.
Dude, I feel like I've been sharpening this knife for like a half hour, and I still can't even finish raising burr on here because of how much wider this bevel is getting. I mean, it's insane.
Hashtag reprofile.
Hang on,
I'm literally just trying to hit the coarsest part, like this is the coarsest part of my stone right in that back right there where I don't really hit, so I'm just trying to drag it on like the actual coarse part.
Alex,
I mean, that's insane.
you were asking about carbon. Rex had 1.3%. M4 had 1.4.
Okay, not that much difference.
But then the only there's a small variance. Rex has 1% less vanadium than M4, but then it has 8% cobalt.
But I know M4 is really tough stuff too. It's got a lot of toughness,
It's
right?
tough for what it is. Like
Rex is pretty tough shit too. I mean, I've used that in kitchen knives for years.
Steve, I know when we were talking about regrinding this Super Freak, we were concerned about edge stability.
What?
The edge stability going too thin.
For what?
This Super Freak M4. Remember how we talked about it? Well, I was talking about taking it down to 5,000ths.
Well, I was just saying if you were gonna depending on how hard you're gonna use it, if you go down to 5,000 and you run into a staple, you're gonna have to sharpen the chip out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's with any steel though. I mean, there's no steel at 5,000 to get a staple. I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not M4 in particular. It's just when you go down to 5,000 behind the edge, you're getting into laser territory.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for EDC, I recommend 10,000s behind the edge. It's like ideal geometry for like actual EDCs at 10,000s. If you hit a staple, you're going to be fine, but you'll still slice like crazy.
I told
So I
Brian.
think 10,000s is really the place to be.
I told Brian when he was regrinding this, I'm like, just get it down into single digits. Don't even worry about putting an edge bevel on it, so that way when I sharpen it, it should be about 10.
How low is it? Like 10,000?
It's 10.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It gets a little thicker out at the tip, which is fine.
Like Spyderco and stuff like that, Spyderco should be no thicker than like 15,000. So like 15,000 for even production, that's fine. It'll still cut way better than 20. You're making a slicing knife. There's no reason for it to be 20,000 on the edge.
I saw you had a Sage 2, Vinny. What's your behind the edge on that one? Because mine's pretty damn thin.
Oh wait, which one?
Your Sage 2.
Sage 2, 10,000.
What?
Yeah.
Holy
or maybe that's 15. That's 10 or 15. I forget which one.
Mine's like 16.
You're at 15? Then I'm probably at 15 too.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, it was 10 or 15. I forget.
That S30V does really well on that.
Yeah, it was. I just know it was under 20 for sure. But
the S30V used for a high chunk is better than Golden's.
Yeah, and I think the Kapar is 15 behind the edge too.
Nice.
They're like really the only two Spydercos that go that thin. But like, if I pull out the mic deck.
The Microtech. The stick that's 5,000 behind the edge.
This thing is like nothing behind the edge. This is too sharp. When I first got it, man, I could actually push the behind the edge. But
I can't on this one from Brian.
Yeah, it was so thin. Now it has like 2 or 3 sharpenings on there. But yeah, I mean that's my 15-degree first eye bevel, and yeah, you can barely see it.
That's awesome.
This is probably the best cutting knife that I have. Well, besides the big brown rig, but yeah, production-wise, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that thing's badass.
Triple B's the man. I love talking to that dude.
Yeah, he's cool as shit. He's the one who actually got me making videos. He's the one who taught me into making.
Tom, ask your girlfriend how thin is your M4 behind the edge.
Okay.
I know.
Just real quick.
Just real quick.
She's sleeping, man.
Just real quick, ask her.
She's sleeping. I ain't waking her up. You guys don't.
Yeah,
you guys don't have to deal with the consequences from that.
Say, babe, what's the thickness behind the edge on this one?
See what she says. Yeah, see what she says.
Nope.
Oh, come on, have some fun, live a little bit.
Nope, I ain't waking her up.
Say my hands are too small to grip this. Can you just?
Yo, screw this X-Men for real.
Look, you dickheads. Look. The whole grip is in my hand.
I see a big
lot
edge sticking out.
Then
he's turning around.
I'm calling it.
You see, it's supposed to look like this, Tom. You see this hand.
Listen,
There's nothing coming out the back.
it's not my fault that the picture that G sent, G has like fucking troll mittens on his fucking arms.
I'm calling it right now that
He's
this
got some
X-Men
huge
at 15
hands.
degrees per side. This guy at 15 degrees per side is going to be 20,000 spine head for sure. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not even sharpening the other side tonight. This is crazy.
BJ said she has calipers in her purse.
That was such an illusion.
Yes. That's how she measures the thickness of Tom's hands. With calipers.
Oh God.
With calipers.
Squish.
Yep, squish. Oh,
Squish.
speaking of
We
that,
never got to talk about a 31. That was depressing.
speaking of that, up on the merch shop, we have the squish shirts now, so go check those out.
Do we?
Yeah, I told you that last podcast.
And then
I don't remember that.
And then we even have them on Instagram. They look like this.
What do you?
Been seen
Oh,
posting
the
stuff.
fucking hands that you leave on everything. He does the hand emojis, and I'm like, God damn it.
They're like this. Squish.
Those are the beef curtains. Those are the beef curtains.
That's like the running joke now. Now I get like one comment per Instagram post about my girlfriend having the knives and not me. Someone always has to be that guy. Oh well.
Look, Tom, it's just the way it is.
It's in good
You
fun.
gotta accept it.
I don't mind.
But for real, ask her how thin it is behind the edge.
I'm not gonna ask her that.
Just one time. Just real quick.
She's sleeping.
Just real quick.
No.
Just real quick.
If she was awake, I would.
She's sleeping at like 8 o'clock at night.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
She's not gonna leave you, Tom.
Hold up.
Squish.
Just lean over. You don't have to call her.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey, squish.
Hey.
how thick is my super freak behind the edge?
What?
How thick is the knife I had reground by Brian behind the edge?
I don't know. Why?
See?
Tell her don't stop telling lies. We know you know how thick
She
behind
said,
it.
or Alex said, you definitely know it, so you should probably just say it.
Tell her to guess. Over under 10,000.
Take a guess.
I'm not good at this.
That's true.
That's not true.
That's true. All right.
We have confidence in you.
I had to prove a point. All right, bye.
10,000.
Bye.
There you go.
She
You
just
know,
sounded
that's the
sweet.
first time we've had Tom's girlfriend on the podcast.
Listen, she isn't good at this kind of stuff. She lived a mile away from the college she went to, and then when they asked her on like one of the entry forums how far away she was, she put like 25 to 30 miles. Measurements aren't her thing.
First off, she didn't sound asleep, Tom.
She's
You
in
lied
here.
to us.
Listen, she was in bed when I took a pee earlier.
She wasn't asleep, Tom. We need to establish a relationship of trust. And you lying about her being asleep. Is she standing there? Is she standing right there? She's standing there.
She is.
Yeah, there she is. Tell her to get on the camera. Come on.
No, she isn't gonna come around for the camera.
Come on, get on the camera. Come
No.
on.
No, not a good
Turn,
time.
come on, get on the camera. Come on.
No.
Where is she? Come on, come on the camera.
I want to see her go like this. Squish.
I'll get a picture of her doing that for you.
Dude, that would be...
No, I didn't see it live. Live.
I'll get a video of
Push.
that. Listen, this is running on now.
Come on. She's right there. Come on. Get out of her titty. Tell her to move her.
One side is done. Boom.
Namaste TX says, "What's her number? Is she gonna break up with you?" Sounds like my kind of smart too. Jesus.
Hey, there's no moving in what was that guy's name?
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Stay back. You know, don't be trying to move in on Tom's girlfriend. On the podcast, we need her.
Oh God.
Did we get any other questions or comments, Tom?
No, it's just mostly people making fun of me. It's fine. Dave said Tom's going to get spanked.
Hey, I want to give a big shout out to A. Kalishnikov. Is he online?
He's not. He hasn't been for the past couple of weeks.
That's too bad.
He's funny. Yes, hold us down. Hold us down. Come on.
Come here.
She's right. I see her. Come on. Come on. We know who makes the decisions. Come on. Come on.
Hey, what about BJ? There she is.
Come
There
here.
she is.
Come on.
I still don't believe she exists.
Yeah, Steve says he still doesn't believe you exist.
Hey, tell her I want to see her do the squish.
BJ goes, do we need Miranda or Tom more? And Dave says Miranda.
Tell her I say do the squish.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Hey, tell her.
Man, that's your sister. Quit lying. That's your
I
sister.
just want to see her do like this.
What? What's? You need to do the.
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine.
Just do the squish.
They want to see you do the squish live. Come on, you don't even have to be in here. Just put your hands over. Come on. She says no.
Come on.
She says no.
Yeah, real quick,
Just
actually.
one time.
Hold on.
Real quick. Just real quick.
Real quick.
Just one time. Real quick.
Go like that.
Am I missing something with these?
Like you're trying to catch a
All
football.
right.
Do it. Do it.
So check it.
Never mind, you don't know how to do
With
that.
with these
Shit.
Yeah, like that. Come over here.
Shit.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
My night is complete now.
Yes.
My night is complete.
Steve.
This is great. Who called it in?
Me. All right, you ready?
What?
So, have you guys heard with the Chris Reed how that the lockup on the Umnumzon looks like it's later than it actually is because the ball is in the center of the lock? You know what I mean? So the ball is really locked up earlier than what it looks like it is. Have you guys heard
Yes.
that? All right.
Yes.
How does this make sense? Because regardless of where the ball is actually locking up, if this ball is locking up at 50%, but my lock bar is over at 90%, that means I still only have 10% more to travel. So really, I'm locked up at 90%. Am I wrong?
No, you're
I mean,
right.
does that make sense to anyone?
You're
I mean,
good. You're right.
It doesn't matter where the ball is locking up at. It matters where the arm is.
Right.
So who cares? I mean, either way, I only have 10% of my life left if the ball's at 50%. To me, that's kind of stupid. I don't really understand that. But, yeah, I mean, to me, I don't care if someone says, oh, that's only locked up at 50%. No, it's locked up at 90%. I only have 10% more to go. You know what I mean?
No.
That's what.
Vinny.
Don't do
Yeah.
it, Miranda.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And it's only gonna. Well, what they're saying is because where the contact point of the ball is
Yeah.
is halfway behind where the end of the lock bar is.
No.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
You're
regardless
saying
of that,
the
my
lock
lock,
bar will reach to the side.
yeah, my lock can only travel over so much more. Like, I'll show you.
Yeah,
Like,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, you want
You're
me to-
right. You're right.
yeah, so like, I mean, here, look, this is. I mean, it takes a lot of pressure to do it on the Umnumzon. If I pull the blade back and then push, I can do it. So, like, now that is 100% locked up because the ball, you know what I mean? Now you have the ball there. So that's
No,
100%
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
versus this. So, I mean, really, this arm can only travel another 10%. It doesn't matter where the ball is. That's weird. I never
Namaste goes,
understood that.
I love Vinny. Always knives 100% of the time, no matter what else goes on.
Yeah, I was just sharpening.
Yeah,
love-
fucking- We're sitting here talking about squish, and Ben's like, "Yo, about the ceramic, he can't lock up."
Hey guys,
Yeah.
It's about dinner
Oh
time.
my god. Alex, I'm reporting you to child services. I'm reporting you to child services.
Where's my daughter?
Yes.
Where is she? Here, come here. Look this. Look this. Your hands? Look this. Yeah, look this. Look here. Put the camera here.
Now both of our daughters have given you the signal, Tom,
That's
and
fine.
your
Watch my food warm up, right?
This
That's
is an
fine.
epic episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do I have to put after the title of this video, featuring Miranda, and then a smaller print featuring neroknives?
Squish. Yes.
Miranda. Oh wait, your girl's name is Miranda.
Yes.
Did she post a pic about missing one of her friends?
No.
No.
I had there was a pic on my feed from some girl named Miranda. I had no idea who it was. It was probably your girl.
It was not my girlfriend, no.
You sure?
Yeah, because she didn't post anything about missing her friends.
Or yesterday?
No.
The day before.
What?
The day before.
No. She posted something a few days back, and Alex commented about where's the knives, because she buys all my knives.
Squish.
There's some random person that I have on my feed.
You follow her, though.
Like Tom's face, it's scaring me.
That scares me, too.
You guys got off tomorrow? You guys got off for Columbus Day?
Yep.
Nice.
No.
No?
Video going up tomorrow.
No.
I promise. Unlike Steve.
What?
What?
Talk shit.
Nothing.
Say it again.
I didn't. Nope. Didn't say anything.
Say it
Is he
again.
backtracking again?
What?
He's probably over there backpedaling.
I'm back.
He's on a bike, backpedaling.
Yeah. See, no.
All right. I'm gonna call you guys.
Yep.
All right.
I think that's enough for the actual podcast. We've been rambling for the past 45 minutes.
Yes, we have.
I'd say about an hour and a half.
As always, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Everyone for tuning in on Twitch. I know that the live stream kind of blew tonight because it just kept disconnecting. But for everybody that stuck through it, thank you. If you guys are serious about starting a GoFundMe for a computer, go for it. That'd be greatly appreciated. Or if you want to support us, you can go buy merch from our merch shop. That is in the description of all of the YouTube videos that we post. So go check that out. As always, thank you to Vinny from neroknives for stopping by for this episode.
Thank you.
Finally, I get a shout out. Yeah. Look at that.
You get one at the beginning, you get one at the end.
I get one. No, I get one. Everyone else is getting a shout out. I'm over here thinking, like, what's going on here?
So thank you, Vinny, for joining the podcast tonight. It was great having you on.
Big shout out
Pleasure to be here.
neroknives. Check him out on YouTube.
Yes, go check him out. YouTube. You are posting more on Instagram now, right?
Me? I still post sometimes on Instagram. My main platform is definitely YouTube, though.
He uploads more consistently than all of us, so
Sometimes.
for the most part, you upload like 7 times in a week, and then you go on like a 2-week hiatus, which is fair.
At least, yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, no, I need to balance it out a little bit more, but yeah, I'm pretty steady right now.
His videos are really interesting too. It's all on topics that you don't see discussed pretty much anywhere else. So definitely go check him out for a unique perspective on the whole knife world, and if you want to get mind fucked by some of the things that he tells you. Like the whole Medford outcutting the PM2 thing blew my fucking mind.
Oh yeah, that was a cool test. I really want to start doing them again. The tire club tests are fun.
You definitely should.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot of fun. I just need to find more tires. Steve, let me borrow your car.
And big shout out to Tom's girlfriend for squishing.
Yes, thank you, Miranda.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miranda, for doing the international sign of me being a pud on my own podcast. So
She agrees.
it's fine.
And both Steve and Alex's daughter
Yes.
giving you the international squish sign.
It was
Big
great.
shout out. I wanted to give a big shout out to Steve from Super Steel Steve for backpedal. That was great.
Oh, more comments too on any of the platforms too, so we can read them. If you leave one on something that's not iTunes, shoot me a message, either on the Sharp Talk podcast Instagram or my personal one, and I'll make sure to get it mentioned on the next one. So I think that's gonna do it for us, guys. So we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks.
All right.
All right.
Good.
See you later.